Hello and welcome to another stream by me, the Twitcher. Today, as promised, we are doing music talk. We have Jared. We have Right Blind. And we are going to be talking about our top 10 albums of 2021. We're gonna go over them. We're gonna go through them. We're gonna go through the whole thing. And I know it shows them already. But look, you're not even gonna notice. Because we're going to unveil them. You can't tell what they are. Here in a second. I got overzealous. Here in a second, I'm going to go feed my dog. And then I'll be back. I'll be back to talk about music. We'll be back to talk about music. It'll be a beautiful, beautiful thing. Nothing will stop us again. There's so damn many.
Too many. It's like there's 30 albums
It's
there.
like there's 30 damn albums there. You guys keep talking. Don't talk about your top ones yet. Maybe talk about some ones that disappointed you. What are some albums that you were really looking forward to but disappointed you in 2021?
One album that I was really looking forward to that disappointed me is right over here. This album, I was really looking forward to.
I was just thinking the same thing. Yeah.
We both love Billie Eilish quite a bit, and we're both talking about this album, looking forward to it, and there's a lot of good songs on it, actually.
There's a handful of songs.
Okay, yeah, there's right. Like, there's a third of it, a third of it's like pretty good songs, and the other third of it's like okay songs, and the other third
the whole album's just like very, very disappointing.
And yeah, I mean, when you look at her last two albums and you hear that, it just kind of.
When I first heard that album, I like literally hated that album.
Yeah, he did. I had to talk him into listening again and tell him there's some good songs on it.
And yeah, there are a few good songs, but that album's still very disappointing.
And yeah, I only bought it because of this, though.
Yeah, well, yeah. I ordered one, but they never delivered mine.
Billy.
They never delivered mine.
So you know what? She hand painted me a thing on the and so I bought the album.
They never delivered mine though.
Did they charge you?
They didn't.
Well, then you
But I ordered it, so it was just a whole weird
You
thing.
just
But anyway, let's not worry about that right now. So, there
were a lot of good albums this year, though. So this was really hard to do. Another album. What's another album that disappointed you?
There's a good amount of albums that disappointed me, actually.
Yeah, there were a lot of great albums, but there were a share of disappointing albums.
I don't know.
Another one that disappointed me was J. Cole's album.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, like, his last several albums, amazing. Great albums. And then I heard this one, and, you know, it takes off at the end, and it's kind of good. Actually, kind of just like Billy's. But, like, the beginning of it, I'm just like, I just don't really feel it, like, as a whole.
Yeah, I could, like... what else?
Another one, people might hate me for this, but I was a little disappointed in Donda.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
It had a lot of good songs. I liked a lot about it, but it's too long. It's way too long. All those part twos are very unnecessary.
That album had a lot of filler.
Yeah, but it also had some really good songs.
Yeah.
What album are we talking about?
Donda.
Yeah.
That album had a lot of filler.
Oh, Donda. Donda, 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 Donda. Do you think that they're gonna shut down my channel for me copying the first track off of Donda?
No. They can't. You're just talking about Donda.
I want to love that album. I really do.
We are.
But there's too much filler. There's like 10 solid tracks on Donda.
Yeah, that's some really good songs.
Oh, like hot, like whew. How is it so good?
But all those part twos, they aren't necessary.
What? It's the same song.
Yeah.
Why is it the same song?
They're just like, oh, let me add it to do it again.
What the hell is it? Also, he could have like literally just built on and just added a little bit, like a slight tweak, and I would have been like maybe.
Mm-hmm.
The part twos, almost all the best songs on his album.
So some of them, yeah.
It's weird. It's unnecessary. Also, the fact that he released it originally. Uncensored, and then he censored it.
Oh yeah.
Real weird.
Oh yeah.
Real weird. Donda, big disappointment. I didn't expect anything from Drake's album, but did either one of you like Drake's album?
I didn't hear Drake's album. So
you didn't need to, because it
That's what I
wasn't
heard.
good.
I'm not.
Do you know what it was?
Fan, so.
It was his last 3 albums, which have all been trash.
No, I like Scorpion.
Ooh, shut your
Scorpion.
mouth.
Yeah, Scorpion was way too long too.
Bad, trash. It's just shitty dance music. It's not even really rap. It's not even really R&B. It's not dance hall. It's like shitty dance music. It's Drake being like, I like to do what I want to do. I'm Drake. I'm Drake. I'm Drake. That's it.
To be completely honest,
But I do love Drake, but like
I haven't liked the Drake album.
I didn't like the Dark Lane demos at all.
Nothing was the same as his last like legitimate album. You liked what?
I think the last Drake album I liked was actually Scorpion, but like I did not like Dark Lane, and I didn't even hear the new one.
Dark Lane tape's bad.
Yeah.
I listen to Drake, even though I do not like Drake, because I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and maybe I should stop. Maybe I should stop giving him the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, I want him to be good too. I mean, I remember Little Jimmy. I want Little Jimmy to be
Little Jimmy
good music.
I'm like the only one who actually really likes Drake though.
You are the only one who really likes Drake, and you know what? Good for you. Good for holding Drake up. It's weird to me that Drake is considered rap. I think that's the biggest qualm I have with Drake.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like considered like a goat of rap, which is also a huge qualm to me. I sit here with Tupac on the wall, just hanging out, just being so cool, because Tupac's a real rapper. Tupac made real rap music, and I'm not saying you can't make whatever Drake makes and be successful, because he's extremely successful. People love him.
One of the richest rappers.
Just don't call it rap. Like, he has rap songs, but like, when was his last rap album that was like actually a rap album?
Wasn't it
like
like
the whole thing?
It was like
Whole thing.
Which one?
Thank Me Later, right?
Oh, there we go.
No, because Thank Me Later, he had a little bit of thing. You gotta miss me on it.
Probably
Probably one of the
it might have been it might be the mixtapes actually. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Drake, you haven't delivered actual rap since the mixtape.
You know what, Drake? Your first mixtape is actually like my favorite thing you've done.
Yeah, that one's really good. Yeah.
Well, did you say something that you're disappointed in besides Donda?
We said.
All right, we said Billy's album.
Yeah, man. I really want it to be a good album, and it's got good songs, and it's got good delivery, and it's kind of interesting, but it's a bad album.
Yeah. That's the thing. A third of the songs I really, really like. And
It would have been a cool EP.
Yeah, it would have.
Would have been a cool EP. Or keep those songs, release the rest as an EP, and then make a good album. You know?
Yeah.
You know, you could have done that. I was disappointed in, but not heavily, J. Cole's album.
Oh yeah, we also said
we
that.
talked about that one also. Yeah.
It's not bad, but it's not good.
After the last 3 albums, it's like
I mean, it's his worst project.
Yeah, well, yeah, easy.
I mean, if you go all the way back to like all of his mixtapes, it might not be his worst, but it's his worst like official release, like undoubtedly.
Yeah, because before that, honestly, I would say all his albums are solid. This one, I wouldn't say is a solid album.
No, and I think it might be one of his better selling albums, which is just like a testament to his success.
I saw it at Walmart, so I mean that's probably.
It's got to be a testament to his success and not necessarily how good the album is itself.
I never saw any of his other albums at Walmart, so.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen a J. Cole album at Walmart.
Yeah, so.
Oh man, talking about J. Cole and Drake, there's an interesting video, if you go way back onto the YouTubes, of J. Cole and Drake buying every copy of Born Sinner the day it came out. Just going to every store in their area, buying every copy, and then just giving them away to people. They went to like Target and the mall, and it's just, and J. Cole and Drake just used to hang out all the time, I guess. That's weird to me. But that's something that used to happen. Jimmy and Jeremiah. Is it Jeremiah Cole?
I don't know actually.
I think it's Jeremiah. I feel like I'm right, but I might be wrong. Let's start top 10s. We're gonna go Jared, Twitcher, Brightblind, and before we reach number 1, we're gonna do our honorable mentions.
All right.
So, top 10. So what's number 10 for you, Jared?
Number 10 for me is the new Wardruna album. It's
Wardruna
called
album.
Bitterriven, I don't even know how to pronounce it, honestly. It's, it's like weird, like Nordic music or language. Like, I don't know how to write it. I speak English, but I love the music.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I love the music. Why do you love the music? Explain to us, like, what parts of the music pull it in above other things.
So this thing right here, I always consider Wardruna a very powerful band, and, they're very minimal, like, on the lyrics.
Okay. So, real quick, with all of these, especially since a lot of these aren't going to be super well known, explain who they are, and then what kind of music they normally make, and then, like, what kind of music this album is, just so that people know.
They're in, like, they are from the Nordic area. I forget exactly where, but they make
Scandinavia.
Yeah, they make Viking music. It's like Viking folk. Like, I mean,
dope.
It's so when I first heard of them, I was like, what is that? Because like when I think Viking music, my mind went to like Amon Amarth, like Twilight of the Thunder Gods. I'm like, that's Viking music. But then I heard this, it's totally different. It's something else entirely, and it's like, it's some of like the only like in. Because most of the songs are instrumental. They do have lyrics, they have chants, they have things like that. But it's like some of the only like instrumental music that like really like paints a picture for me. Like I can like see like every album, like all their albums paint a picture, and this one is like no different. This one's like just as good as the first three. Like the fourth one, I was a little disappointed. It's still a great album, but just not as good as the other three. This one's just as good, and I think that there's not a weak track on it, and
not a weak track. That's good.
I'd easily listen to this album. This is one of the albums that like I like to listen to sometimes, like when I am just like doing something like to where like I'm not like completely focused on the music, but like I want to hear the music and I want it in the background, and this is the album I'll like to put on, like, out of...
Okay.
That falls under that for last year.
Nice background music.
Mm-hmm.
That's alright.
Also very powerful. Like, so you put it on in the background, but it jumps in at the forefront, so it's like, I actually pay more attention to it than I would most background music. If that makes sense, because...
Okay. Well, real quick, short rating. What would you give it? Out of 10.
I'm going to go with...
Quick.
Don't
think about it. Quick.
I'm
Say
so
something. Say something.
I'm throwing 9.
9. Okay, 9 for Wardruna. What do we have coming next?
Next is... Are we all doing top 10, or are we just...
So you're going to go through your top 10.
Oh,
and I'm going to go through my top 10.
Okay.
And we're going to end with Bridie's top 10.
Okay.
And then, remember, before 1, honorable mentions.
Okay, so my number 9... What was my number 9? I don't remember.
Let's pop it up.
Let's pop it. Oh, it is Celestial Blues by King Woman.
Celestial Blues by King Woman. Who's King Woman?
King Woman, she is her name's Christina Esfiandari, and she, sorry if I'm butchering your name, but
Christina Esfiandari.
you are, but she's in a few projects. She's in King Woman, she's in Miserable, she has solo stuff. She has just an array of projects. King Woman is probably her most successful at the moment.
King Woman most successful.
Okay. Miserable's pretty successful too, though. But anyway, this is the newest album, and I think it's my favorite King Woman album. This is the third one they've done, and I heard it right away, and I was instantly like, "No, damn, it's pretty good." So I noticed it sounded a little different than the first two albums.
What was different in the sound? Like, was it leaning more towards a different genre? Was there different quality to it?
It was still like in the same kind of realm, but it was a little bit more like electronic, a little bit more like upbeat and loud. Before their other albums are kind of more, they're more like, I guess, like kind of calm, and it's like they're like quiet, and they're like there's some I put on to like relax, and
okay,
or like if I just wanted to like just chill or something, or listen to them. This is an album I listened to that I walked, like I went to work for a 12-hour job, and I would listen to this album to help me pilot through the day, because it was like really good and just brought me like lots of energy.
Brought you lots of energy. Okay, so is it the best album from King Woman?
From King Woman, yes. From all her projects, I'm not sure.
Not sure about all the projects. What quick rating?
I'm going to go 9 on that, too.
9! Another 9. Okay, next we have your number
8.
8. Do you know what it is?
Fuck no, I don't remember. This is really hard.
It is Nick Cave.
It is Nick Cave and Warren Ellis, Carnage.
What kind of who's Nick Cave? What kind of music is it? Nick Cave is successful, but not successful enough for most people to know he is.
Yeah,
it's just weird to think about.
So Nick Cave, for those who don't know, he started off in a punk band called The Birthday Party. If anyone's heard of them, they were just like a loud noise kind of punk band, and then he started and formed Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. And Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds have been around for a long time. First album came out in '84. They've done things with Kylie Minogue, PJ Harvey. Nick Cave used to date PJ Harvey.
Weird to think
and
about. PJ Harvey.
And they've gone through a lot of changes. Always, all their albums sound very different, and they are just a very unique band. But this is just Nick Cave and Warren Ellis. So Warren Ellis joined the Bad Seeds on the Let Lovin' album, and
What year was that?
94.
94.
And and he's been there ever since. He's now like the right hand. Mick Harvey used to be like Mick Harvey, Blixer used to be like the main like secondary guys behind Nick. And Warren's like the top like secondary guy.
Wait. Keep going.
No, so this
Don't wait for me.
album, this album is just them, and you notice that because you don't hear as many of the instruments as you do in Bad Seeds, but it's not lacking in a lot of the other categories because the lyrics are still phenomenal, the music's still great, and this is honestly I love Nick Cave's last 3 albums, but I think this album's better than, or I love Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds' last 3 albums, but I think this album's better than the last 3, which a lot of people would attack me to say because those
Better than the last 3.
Mm-hmm. And
what were the last 3?
last 3 actually might even be last 4 because I love Dig Last Earth Dig, but it does have Albert Goes West, and Carnage doesn't have a weak track on it.
Yeah.
But
Forgot my snack. Keep going.
But I wouldn't. This is album I put up there because it is like I just think it's all around solid. Nick Cave is one of my favorite songwriters like ever, and he wrote another good album, and I like it very much. And I would also I would give it. I'm gonna give it a 9 too. I think it's too early.
Lot of nines here. We're going heavy with the 9s. All right, next one is Lana's new album. One of many. How many albums did he release in 2020?
2 albums.
2 albums in 2021.
So, yeah.
And why is this one? What's this one called?
This one's Blue Banisters.
Why is it better than the other album? What is the other album?
The other one's Chemtrails Over the Country Club, which I'll talk about later. But I put this one in the top 10 because this one I enjoy a lot more. I think it has a lot of better songs. I loved it the first time I heard it. Chemtrails I love Chemtrails now, but when I first heard it, I was just kind of like, I was instantly like, it's not wasn't what I expected, and then I gave it a couple more listens. I'm like, actually, you know what? That sounds actually pretty good, and so I enjoy it now. But I still, even with that, I still enjoy Blue Banisters a lot more. Even though Chemtrails, I think, might be a little bit more of a cohesive album, I think Chemtrails makes up for it in all the other.
Blue Banisters makes up for it?
Blue Banisters makes up for it in all the other like areas. And it actually has some of my favorite Lana songs on it. And I've heard it.
Like favorite of all time Lana songs?
I have a lot of favorite Lana songs. For Lana.
How many albums does Lana have now? Like 7?
She has one. Does Paradise count as an album?
How long is Paradise?
It is 8 songs. It's like 30.
Yeah, it's an album. If it crossed the 30-minute mark, I'd count it as an album.
Alright, so Born to Die, Paradise, Ultraviolet, Honeymoon, Lust for Life, Norman fucking Rockwell, Blue Banisters, Chemtrails, 8 albums.
8?
9 if you count the Lana Del Rey, aka Lizzie Grant.
Okay, wow. That's more projects than I realized.
Yeah.
And is this one of your favorites?
This one? It's in my top 5.
Top 5? I mean, out of 8, that's not that hard to do.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so what would you rate it?
I'm gonna stick to the 9s.
I'm gonna disagree with that one heavily. I've heard this album. It does not deserve a 9.
I didn't make it to my top 10 list. It was so close though.
Okay.
A lot of people.
I thought it was pretty
A lot
good,
of people say this album sounds like a lot of Ultraviolence kind of outtakes. I've heard a heavy criticism of that, but my rebuttal with that is Ultraviolence is her best album, and a lot of these songs are they're outtakes from around there. They're fucking good outtakes because Lana, she has literally albums and albums and albums of unreleased people. She's one of those people that just records so much music and doesn't release it. And sometimes a couple demos I've heard that are actually better than the studio ones, but yeah, so I honestly think she should just release all those stuff to make albums out of.
I disagree with him. I think artists should release what they want to release, and I do think that if she has stuff that she isn't releasing, but she chose to release this, there's a reason she isn't releasing it.
No, but here's the thing though with her, that
Please.
she
Please.
all her stuff ends up leaking anyway, to the point to where like I honestly think someone like her or someone is like leaking it because like
Intentionally?
yeah, because even
like Kanye does?
yeah, like this
Fucking
album
Kanye.
this album
He totally leaks his own shit.
yeah, and Chemtrails both leaked before they came out, and
Oh, did they?
yeah, then I just like, well, I'll just wait.
Okay, you actually rated this one a 9. So next we have
Deaf Heaven. Oh yeah. So this album is really hard for me to do this well.
This album cover, beautiful, by the way. It's gorgeous. You can't tell how beautiful it is, but look it up. Look up Deaf Heaven. What is this album? Explain who Deaf Heaven is. Explain the album.
So this album's Infinite Granite by Deaf Heaven. They started off as a metal band. They were like mostly metal, but they also have very heavy shoegaze elements, among other things.
What is shoegaze?
So shoegaze is a genre from like the late 80s or late 80s and 90s, and it's the most popular album from that is probably Loveless by My Bloody Valentine.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, so they have a heavy influence from that, and this album they really went the whole shoegaze direction. It's the metal is actually a little bit more minimal here, and whereas like their other albums like Sunbather, so everyone like loves Sunbather. That's like one of the most.
Slightly louder.
That's like one of like if you haven't heard Sunbather, you go back and listen to Sunbather because most people tell you that's one of the best like hard like metal like hard albums of like the 2010s like easy. It's a phenomenal album. This album is also a phenomenal album.
Why?
But because they were able to take something and they're able to completely freshen themselves up. And I liked it because a lot of people had complaints about the last album. I love the last album. I thought it was really good because they were saying that it kind of sounded like, they're doing the same thing. But they had a couple songs.
So the last album sounded stale.
Yeah, because they were doing the same thing they did on the last two albums. But I disagree with that, and that's the whole.
Yeah, but don't get into that.
That's a whole other video.
We're in your top 10.
Anyway, they
2021.
on the last album they actually had a song that was a little bit softer, and it featured Chelsea Wolfe, and it was called Night People, and this direction they kind of went for more. They went for more that direction on there. I feel like, along with just a little bit like general, just like shoegaze.
Do they have any other features on this one?
They have. I don't think there's a feature. I think there might be one that I've never heard of, but
okay, so nothing big.
Yeah.
No more Chelsea Wolves.
Yeah, no,
okay.
Nothing like that. But but yeah, I enjoyed every song on the album, and I wouldn't change anything about it. So I think that's a good spot for it. I want to put it higher. I really want to put it higher. All year I was saying it was my number 2 album, but I really thought about it. I really thought about it really hard, and I put it here. I might change my mind later, but that's fine.
Okay, what would you rate it?
I'm going to stick to the 9 still.
Still 9.
Yeah.
Still 9. Okay, so what do we have next? That is your number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your number
5.
5, isn't it?
Yeah, I think my number 5. I think it's Lindsey Buckingham.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Little LB.
Lindsey Buckingham by Lindsey Buckingham. This album I was really surprised by. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it is. Now, I actually heard all of Lindsey Buckingham's solo work for the first time this year before I even knew this album was coming out. And I was actually really impressed by how good all the solo stuff is.
Did we talk about who Lindsey Buckingham is?
No.
Who is Lindsey Buckingham?
So if you don't know Lindsey Buckingham is, you know Lindsey Buckingham is because he wrote most of the songs that you like from Fleetwood Mac.
Okay, from Fleetwood. Okay.
He wrote "Go Your Own Way." He wrote
The Chain.
He wrote "The Chain."
Didn't he?
He wrote "Tusk."
Write most of Rumors.
He wrote a lot of it. Yeah, Christine and Stevie wrote stuff too, but Lindsey probably wrote more. Lindsey wrote more than that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this album I didn't think. I just didn't expect it to be so good because, you know, Lindsey's old, you know, a lot of people, they get old and they'll, you know, like, even like all-time greats, they'll put out, you know, stuff that's good, but, you know, that it's never like, well, a lot of the time it's not something you'll be like, oh, I like, this is good, I'm actually going to listen to this, I'm putting on my rotation all the time.
They do, Bob Dylan's recent stuff is
not
good.
Yeah, like
it's not bad, but it's not good.
Yeah. Like, this album, I will actually, like, want to listen to, like, from time to time, and I love every song on it, and it's really short too. It's like, it's solid and perfect, and literally there's like nothing I would change about it.
What genre of music is it? Is it similar to
It's similar.
Fleetwood Mac, or is it very different?
It's similar to some of the Fleetwood Mac songs.
Like what album for Fleetwood Mac would be the closest? If you had to compare.
I mean, it wouldn't probably be a whole album. It'd probably just be individual songs.
Okay.
I think it's like, you know.
You get more Rumors vibes from it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it'd be like Never Going Back Again, kind of.
Okay. Okay. That's good.
So yeah, and I think it's like probably a pretty perfect album, honestly.
Pretty perfect album.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm
gonna have to give it a listen.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it.
It is worth worth a lot of listens. I just bought it, and I didn't get it in time.
Oh, you didn't get it in time.
Shit! And you know what? We're gonna backtrack a little bit.
We're gonna do a little backtrack
because I need to show. I brought the Death Heaven album. It's right here.
Beautiful cover. Beautiful cover. Still in the plastic.
Still in the plastic.
You gonna keep it in the plastic?
Until I get another plastic to peel the sticker off cleanly and put it
There
in.
you go.
Then I will.
There you go.
Show on the record.
Is the record beautiful?
No, the record's just black.
Oh.
Just regular black vinyl.
There's like another release where they like made it like nice and blue.
There is and there's also a picture disc with a 3D gram that makes the cover come out.
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah,
3D grams are so cool.
If picture disc didn't sound bad most of the time, I probably would have bought that.
Okay, what would you rate Lindsey Buckingham's album? Oh, no, we got more. I thought you just said that.
Bought. I have Lana Del Rey Blue Banisters right here.
Blue Banisters by Lana Del Rey. Whoa, we got Corey in chat.
Corey.
How's it going,
Corey, hang out and watch the thing. You might learn something about music, man.
That's what the gatefold.
Tell your sister to watch, Corey.
And Lana and her friend
with a cat. Dude, that cat looks so cool. Doesn't that cat look cool?
Cat looks pretty cool, actually.
Dude, that's a lynx cat.
I love that. I love lynx cats.
Dude, they're expensive.
Yeah.
Here we go. We got Lana catering to both the dog people and the cat people.
She understands marketing. You know what I'm saying?
She does. She knows what people want to see.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you rate Lindsey Buckingham's nearly perfect album?
I'm going to go up to a 9.5.
9.5. Ooh, ETs, we're reaching. We're reaching. Oh, next we have Miss Nadler. Oh,
this album is also, like, really good. So, Marissa Nadler, for those who don't know.
Yeah, explain Marissa Nadler.
She's been a force in, like, the underground folk scene for, like, a long time. She has been since like earlier 2000s, and she has been featured on an Aquaville River album, and
Oh, really?
yeah. What was that Aquaville River album?
It was the Silver Gymnasium.
Yeah, she did She did like a lot of the co-writing on it.
Check out Aquaville River.
Yes, and
Good folk band.
she's just like always been there. She's hung out. She like often opened with a lot of the heavier bands and stuff.
Like, what's a heavier band? What do you mean?
Like a lot of like the metal and like hard rock bands. Like I saw her open for Ghost once.
Ooh.
And
That'd be cool.
Actually,
That's
yeah,
like a
it fit
good
really
duo,
well.
actually.
It was really good duo. But this album is her newest one. It's Past 6,000. This album, it's really close. Like I want to say this actually might be my favorite album that she's done. It's
Favorite Marissa Nadler album?
really close. She had her third album, Song 3. It's I don't know which one I like more, honestly. I'm gonna probably have to give this one more listens before I could make that kind of judgment. But this album is
It's always a hard one.
yeah, it's phenomenal. It's everything on it is like it's good, not a bad song on it. And this is like an album that I like to listen to that like kind of like puts me in like kind of like refresh and like calm, like
Fresh and calm.
yeah, like I feel like like I like maybe like just like like how you feel when like it's a hot day and like you just come out of the water and you're like
Come out of what water?
like if you like
What are you talking about?
if you like jumping in like the ocean or the pool or something and you're just coming out.
You just feel nice and relaxed.
Yeah, you're like nice and refreshed. You're just like yeah.
I like that metaphor, but I don't agree with it. But I like it.
And yeah, I would highly recommend anyone check out Marissa Nadler if they don't know who she is.
I would actually second that. Marissa Nadler is amazing. I haven't heard this album, and I feel like garbage that I haven't. Actually, at the very end of the year, I almost listened to a ton of albums from 2021 so that I could like spruce up this list and like really be like, oh man, I listen to everything good, so now I know. But instead, I just chose to pick from the things that I've actually listened to. I think we all kind of did.
Yeah.
Because we all could have gone back and listened to like every hot track, everything that everyone else was like, this is my top 50, this is my top 100. But I think doing the more organic thing where we pick the things that we actually chose to listen to and found, and we're like, man, this is what I'm going to pick. And then make our top 10 from there makes more sense.
Yeah.
But Marissa Nadler's fucking dope. Dope.
Yeah. Shit.
Would you rate it? What would you rate it?
We'll stick to 9.5.
9.5. All right, 9.5 for Marissa Nadler. Now we are moving to Miss Rundle.
Oh shit.
You ready?
Yeah.
Now, who is she? What's the album? What kind of music? Stuff like
So Emma Ruth Rundle, for those who don't know,
What's the album first?
Oh, the album is called Engine of Hell.
Engine of Hell by Emma Ruth Rundle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for those who don't know Emma Ruth Rundle, she's a singer-songwriter that she kind of writes like, it's like kind of like darker folk, I would say, but she has some other projects that's like she has like a post-rock project called Marriages that's also really good. She
dope.
has she was in the band Red Sparrows for an album. For those who know Red Sparrows is, she had another group called The Nocturne, that was another band. She's done a lot of stuff. Everything she's done, I think's great. Like, I don't think she's ever put out anything that's been like, I wouldn't listen to. She had a collab album last year with a band called Thou that people were kind of split on. I thought it was great. I loved it. And this album, this is her newest offering to us, and that was a weird choice of words, but
this is her newest offering.
But
to the gods that are I.
This album is like, it's like very, very personal. Like you can hear you can hear everything. She went through a lot while she was recording this album, and she went to
what?
So she got divorced.
Oh,
and she literally just changed her whole lifestyle, and she moved to a place in she moved, or she was staying at a place in England, and she just wasn't really like seeing people, and she just kind of like staying in, trying to write the album, and just you know, doing art and so and things like that, and this album, you can really hear it came from a place like really deep, and every word really means like a lot on the album.
You can feel the weight of it.
You can feel it. It's really heavy. You can really like feel like she's bringing like everything to you, like that she's feeling like her realm, and she's really like bringing it and just kind of like showing it to you, and like
it's not that surface level bullshit. Like, you're actually getting a feel for what's happening, and you're actually like feeling her emotions. Like, it's almost forcing empathy.
Yeah, and
that's cool.
Yeah, so this is
also
like,
haven't heard this.
This album is a very like heavy listen. So if you like want to listen to it, you got to be in like the mindset to listen to that, because this is like an album that like I listen to, and like I don't get like sad necessarily. I'll save that for later. But this album, I feel like, I don't know, I feel really human when I listen to this album. Like, it really like it like really points out, like it like really shows, like, I guess just like how, I don't know, it's like how things, it makes you feel like aware of like everything around you, I guess. And
it connects you.
Yeah.
There's like a connecting quality of this album to where like it feels like there's an intention behind it to bring you in closer to the human experience.
And
does that sound right? I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that, and I think that it like just paints like the picture, and I think that's why the cover is good. I also have that here. I almost forgot.
Oh yeah, don't forget.
That cover.
And you've met Emma Ruth Rundle, right?
Oh yeah, I've met her several times. She's awesome in person. And if you ever, concerts ever happen again,
if concerts ever happen again, okay.
She well, at least these kind of concerts.
More indie concerts.
Yeah, she opens for a lot of like, like a lot of heavier bands too. She opens for like Death Heaven. I saw her open for Alcest. I've seen her open for This Will Destroy You. I've seen, and also seen her headline. But she I don't know, she's like kind of like her own unique thing. This particular label,
what's the label?
No, it's Sargent House.
Sargent House, okay.
And everyone on this label is honestly pretty unique. They're like,
isn't who else is on this?
Death Heaven's on there. Okay. Chelsea Wolf's on there. Okay. The Arm's on there.
Quite a few.
Ioana Giga's on there. Fucking.
Okay,
Miserable's on there.
That's enough.
So Husband's on there.
What would you rate it?
This album, honestly,
I haven't heard it yet. I don't have any real input on this.
I think I'm gonna. I guess I'll jump up to the 10s now, because
this is 10.
Maybe.
Oh
wow. If not, it's 9.5. It's like either way. I don't know.
9.5 or a 10. What about like a 9.75?
Yeah,
we're scraping just slightly higher, 9.75 for what's the name of this album?
Engine of Hell.
Engine of Hell by Emma Ruth Rundle. The way that I would describe Emma Ruth Rundle's, at least her solo stuff, is it's singer-songwriter, but it's singer-songwriter who likes to fucking rock.
Yeah.
So like it's very singer-songwriter-esque, but it's not like soft and melodic the whole time. You definitely get the quality of, oh man, this is like someone who likes rock and roll. They like good music, but they also care about what they're writing.
Yeah, I know. Literally everything she writes, I can tell, like, comes from somewhere in her, and I can actually, and it feels all real. It feels very thing that's like, I connect to her music on a certain level that I don't connect to a lot of people's music.
Okay, now let's move on to number 2. Number 2.
I don't have a physical copy of.
Have they released a physical copy of this?
I found out they did. And
whoa, sub, Lil Miss
Insane.
Insane.
Unofficial releases. I looked it up.
Miss Little Insane?
Unofficial releases. They weren't official releases.
Oh, what's up?
So, okay, real quick. What is this album? Who is it by? It's a little hard to tell from the image.
So, this album is Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. If you
yeah.
don't know who Tyler, the Creator is, then I mean...
If you don't... Grab the poster. If you don't know who Tyler, the Creator is yet,
under a rock.
like, what are you doing? Like, right here. Cherry bomb. We love Tyler, the Creator here. If you don't, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
If you don't, you must just not listen to rap or something.
Or just good music.
I mean, probably.
Yeah. Or just good music. Okay, so tell us a little bit about Tyler the Creator for the people who, for some reason, might not know who Tyler the Creator is.
So, Tyler the Creator is a rapper. He started off in a band called Odd Future. Is that right?
He did. I don't know if he started.
Okay, well, he came up in Odd Future.
He simultaneously had his solo thing while he was working with Odd Future, and he's kind of the founder of Odd Future. He didn't just come up in it, my man. He was like.
He was, well, he brought them up, I'll say. How about
that? Him and Frank.
Yeah, him and
the
Frank.
rest of them were like there.
Yeah. And he's been putting out he's been putting out good albums since the beginning. This man has never put out a bad album. Like
his worst album won him a fucking Grammy.
Yep.
His worst album won him a Grammy.
Yeah, so that tells you all you need to know right there.
He also helped make the soundtrack for The Grinch.
Oh, yep, he did, yeah.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah.
And that's how I can play Tyler the Creator for my preschoolers. Or toddlers.
Okay, what sets this album apart from other albums in the year? Like, how did it make it to the number 2 spot? Like, why is it standing so high?
So...
Not necessarily above just these, but above, like, other music this year.
I'm going to say... First off, I want to say, everything from Tyler all the way to Death Heaven, those are very interchangeable for me, I want to say. I stuck on this right now. This is what I'm feeling right now.
Current top 10.
But like, literally, you ask me, any of those can change in any order. Those are all, like, great albums. But this album, I really like it because it's a very unique album. It has, like, it's like Tyler rapping again, because in his last album, like, it was more...
His last album was Igor?
More singing, yeah. This album was, like, him kind of, I feel like, going back a little bit to what he was doing, kind of like on Cherry Bomb. And it just... from beginning to end, start to finish, I love, like, everything about it.
So, I'll ask you this. I don't know if you actually know this. Do you have a favorite track off the album? This is a hard one. This is a kind of fucked up question.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have a favorite track off any of these yet.
You really don't?
No,
okay.
Because this year, it's been so hard to actually single out favorite tracks because there's just been so many good albums. I've been trying to focus on hearing all the good albums, wanting to take all that in, and
it's been a really good year for fucking music. And I think this is one of the best things I will credit to the whole pandemic and COVID is you sent a bunch of musicians home. You didn't make them feel like they had to put something out. And you gave them like 1 to 3 years to really just mull shit over and make some good music.
Yeah.
And it's showing. It really is, and it's fucking blowing me away. You could talk about Tyler for a while, but how about you just rate him, and then we talk about, some honorable mentions.
All right. So this one,
it's a hard one.
This one I'm also gonna fucking say about the same thing as like Emma. Like I want to say 10, but then it's like, should I say 10?
So we're going like 9.75.
I guess so.
9.75. Okay, so now let's talk about some honorable mentions. What are some of your honorable mentions? Ones that you're like, man, they're so close to being in the top 10, or man, they were just a good fucking album this year. Like, what do we got?
I have a lot actually, so it's gonna take some time.
Okay, so that doesn't take forever. Album, artist, brief reason why it was good.
All right. So
if you want to rate it, you can, but don't spend forever rating it.
Yeah, I don't need to rate it. So. Start off with this one. This is the other Lana album I was talking about earlier. Beautiful. Chemtrails Over the Country Club. And I didn't put it in the top 10 because I thought I liked Blue Banisters more. And
actually, I haven't heard this album.
Overall. And because this album actually took a few listens for me to actually really like. And honestly, I love it. I love everything Lana Del Rey does. Like, I think she's amazing. But this actually could be my least favorite Lana album, like out of all her albums. But
least favorite Lana album? Okay, that's fair.
But yeah,
what would you rate it?
Still not good.
Quick!
I go with like.
Brightline looks tired and disassociated. Pep up.
I'm always disassociated, man. I'm sorry.
That's his aesthetic.
It's literally a problem of mine. I'm sorry.
That is Bright Blind's aesthetic. He's disassociated.
I'm gonna go with like 6.5.
6.5. Okay. Next thing. What do we got? What other honorable mentions we got?
This album is called Primordial Arana. Or
Yeah, Primordial Arcana or Arcana, depending on who's pronouncing.
I don't know.
Who is it by?
It's by Wolves in the Throne Room.
Wolves in the Throne Room. Aren't they also signed
They
to the same one as Emma?
No, they are not.
I thought they were.
Chelsea Wolf opened for them once.
That's why I thought that.
But this is a really good album. It's like, I heard it, so this is actually probably my favorite album they've released in maybe about like 10 years or so. Like, this is like, I think, a pretty solid album. I did not put it in my top 10 because there just wasn't enough room, honestly.
Top 10's a hard thing, probably for all of us, anytime that we're going to do something like this.
But,
Whoa!
Nice.
Look at that beautiful boy. There's like striation in the orange, too. It's not just like plain orange.
Oh, yeah. It's
like coppery.
Yeah.
It looks like a spool of copper up close.
So this album, if you have not listened to Wolves in the Throne Room, and you like metal, I would highly recommend them.
They're quite good.
They're one of the best metal bands currently.
They're quite good. Whoever was watching my stream yesterday, if you're watching now, someone was like, "Oh man, I love metal." If you don't know Wolves in the Throne Room, go check them out. They're nice. They're more than nice. They're clean. Clean, so fresh, so clean. What do we got next? What's another one? What's another one?
Another one is going to be the new Marina album called Stranger in a Strange Land.
Once called Marina and the Diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard this one either.
So I've kind of like I haven't been like as like following her as closely as I have when she was Marina and the Diamonds. I used to listen to like. She's like one of those people I used to listen to all the time, and I kind of like, let backside. Still loved her, but just didn't listen as much. The last album I kind of slept on a little bit. It was still very good, but I just kind of slept on it. This one I tried not to sleep on, and it didn't disappoint me at all.
No disappointment from Marina. Okay, what would you rate it?
Maybe like. I don't know, I just want to say for the record, I always feel like an asshole rating like albums.
It's a really hard thing to do,
yeah.
And it's hard because like a good album would sit, in my opinion, if you're rating out of 10, somewhere between 4 and 6. Like that's a good album. A great album or a really good album, 6 to like 8. Mm-hmm. And then anything above 8, you're just gonna be like, "Whoa, that's some hot shit. That is good music."
Well, like
Yeah,
like it's fine. Like you take an album like Engine of Hell, and like you say, and like for me just to like hearing everything that comes out of that, for me just to throw a rating on that.
It's hard.
Yeah, I don't. It's not something
I rating albums is for people like Fantano. He just disconnects and doesn't care. And that's why it shows. Do you have any other honorable mentions?
I have a lot.
Well, go a little faster than my man.
Okay. I also
shoot through a couple. Just shoot through a couple.
Okay, Courtney Barnett. These things take time.
God, that's a good fucking album.
A very good album.
That is a good album. I love me some Courtney Barnett.
She has not put out a bad album.
No, she has not.
She is a great songwriter. She's like
that beautiful Australian woman.
And the album is actually that's actually an album I honestly like. Probably it could have been in the top 10 if I would have maybe listened a little bit more.
It could have been. Okay, something else.
I'm gonna go with The Armed, Ultra Pop.
Ooh, I don't know this.
So The Armed is a band I actually just found out about this year. They also signed on the Sargent House label. They are like very, very, very interesting. Like kind of like they're like industrial, theatrical, like metal kind of.
So like Alice Cooper-ish?
No.
Not like there?
No,
the theatrical metal kind of sounds.
Well, no, the theatrical is not like a theatrical like Alice Cooper. I think it's like the music kind of sounds.
So like more like a musical.
Yeah, like the Afflictions like theatrical.
Okay.
The album was actually like it was phenomenal. It's probably the best album I heard by a new artist this year that I hadn't
Best
previously
new artist
knew.
album. The Armed, Ultra Pop.
Mhm.
What's next?
Sculptured, the Liminal Phase.
Ooh.
So, for those who don't know, Sculptured is a band.
What kind of band?
They are. They're kind of hard to classify because they're just like really weird. But I guess I'll just say metal. But they're like
Avant-garde?
Avant-garde, and they are like just like a lot of stuff kind of mixed together, just kind of thrown into like a little pot and just.
They're an amalgamation of music. And
this album I've actually been waiting on for a long time. Like, they haven't come out with an album since 2008. And the last album I really liked, and this album I like no different. I think the album's actually like just as good. And
wow.
I need to listen to it more because it really blew me away.
Okay, next.
Next is going to be Japanese Breakfast, Jubilee.
Did you actually listen to this?
Yeah.
I keep almost listening to this album.
I haven't listened to this yet either.
I've heard really good things about this album.
Yeah, it took me a while to listen to it, and I heard it, and I'm like, shit, why didn't I listen to this sooner? And now I'm like, and if I actually would have, I'd probably have a copy right here, because it's a really good album.
Okay.
Also, next, I'm going to go with Poppy Flux. This is a pretty solid album. It's his Poppy doing her, kind of, I guess, it's like her harder rock kind of again, but she's kind of going back to a little bit like throwing a little bit more of the bubblegum style on it that she started off with. So it's really interesting listen.
I don't like Poppy. I don't. Everyone likes what they like, and I don't like Poppy. Alright, what's next before I get mad?
The next is going to be The War on Drugs, I Don't Live Here Anymore.
I didn't listen to this, but I really want to check this out, actually.
This album
I didn't know it came out until like a week ago.
This album is, it's pretty good. I need to give it some more listens, but I really liked it when I heard it, and it's at least as good as their last album. And
Little Miss is saying you get it. Good for you. Poppy
And
sucks.
I'm going.
Poppy sucks.
No,
Poppy sucks ass.
Negative.
Poppy is trash.
Poppy is one of the most unique artists we have.
No.
And next, I'm going to go with Casey Musgrave's Starcrossed. This album it actually had a lot of solid songs on it. I think that they could have. I think that it maybe it could have flowed a little bit better, but overall, I liked the majority of the songs on it. And
it's got high points, but
pretty
do
good.
you feel like it's cohesive?
No, I feel like it could have been a little bit better. The ending kind of feels just I guess to me.
Do you have any other ones? Anything else you want to mention? You have more?
Yeah.
Okay, hurry up. Shoot through the rest of them.
This is a band called Holder, and the album's called God's Last Stirring Hymns of a Forlorn Peasantry.
That's long.
This is a one-woman black metal project.
Whoa.
Who started in Belgium, and she is now residing in Portland and
Portland what?
Oregon.
Okay.
And I just discovered her last year, completely randomly, and I heard both her albums, and I was like, oh, this one came out this year in January. I'm like, oh, and I heard it, and I loved it. It was really good.
Next one.
Next one is going to be Solar Power by Lord.
Oh, I almost listened to this. Was it actually good?
It was pretty good.
I really liked it. Yeah.
I slept on it a little bit more than I should because I feel like I should have listened to it more, but I really liked it. It was a really good album. I'm also Alexis Marshall's solo album, House of Lull, House of Wind. Those who are going to crucify me for talking good about Alexis Marshall's work right now, I'm sorry.
What's wrong with it? I don't know who that is.
Alexis Marshall, the singer of Daughters, and Daughters is going through a bit of a hard time right now.
Well, let's not talk about it right now. We can talk about that later. Shoot more. I can't believe you have this many. Keep going. No, go to the next.
So yeah.
We don't have time for that.
And then I'm going to go to St. Vincent's album, Daddy's Home. Another very solid album. I I didn't like it as much as her last two.
Her last one was so damn good.
It was.
The one before Daddy's Home is so good.
Mass Seduction.
Mass Seduction is so good.
It is. It might be her best album, but I still really enjoyed it. Vince Staples' self-titled album, is another one I really enjoyed.
How many more we got?
We got only a couple more.
Okay.
And we got Abba's comeback album, Voyage. It was a pretty good comeback album, you know. It's like, you know, it wasn't like phenomenal. Like, I didn't like as much as I like, you know, older Abba, but I still liked it.
Haven't heard it yet.
I also haven't heard it.
See, we got Silk Sonic album. I enjoyed it enough.
I disagree with this heavily. I think that Anderson .Paak is one of the biggest talents we have in the music industry right now. I think that is a solid thing. We've seen Anderson .Paak.
Mm-hmm.
We met him. Weird guy. Kind of interesting. But I think pairing him with Bruno Mars, I think his choice to pair with Bruno Mars was smart but stupid. I think there's plenty of better people for him to pair with.
There's a lot of better people.
And I think that he elevated Bruno Mars, but I think that, like, elevating Bruno Mars, like, quite literally, he's a small man, so you can't elevate him that much. But, like, it just isn't going to play out that well for you because it's going to degrade you.
Well, yeah, that's why it's only an honorable mention. It was good
I don't even know if it... Like, I disagree with the fact that it deserves an honorable mention. Okay.
And then...
Just do those. Just do those ones. The last two. We'll have time to bring up the other one.
There's only one more because I already brought it.
Okay. Okay, then bring it up.
It's just John Mayer's new album, Sabrak.
It's a fun album.
It was a really nice
album. It's a good
listen.
Yeah. It's a fun listen. It's like 80s inspired, which is kind of fun.
I love how he has the little nice price sticker on it. It brings me back.
It's fun. It's a fun one. Okay. Now we move to the number one spot for Jared. Number one album for Jared for 2021. What is it?
It is Lingua Ignota, Sinner, Get Ready.
Sinner, Get Ready. Let's look at this bad boy. Look at that bad boy. Sinner, Get Ready. Talk about it.
So this album is like a piece of work. This album is
like a beautiful piece of work, not like a piece of shit. A piece of work can mean multiple things.
A beautiful piece of work from beginning to end. This album tells the story of. This album illustrates pain, I think, for me, in like a way that a lot of people can't illustrate. People try, but Lingua Ignota, Kristen Hayter, she does it. And
her real name's Kristen Hayter?
That's her real name.
That's weird.
And this is her fourth album, third if you want to get technical, but her first album is great, but no one knows about it because it's not on Spotify. But she came out with two more albums. Or she came out with All Bitches Die, and that's the one I discovered her on.
You're covering your mouth.
Phenomenal album. That's like one of my favorite albums of 2010s. And then she came out with Caligula, another phenomenal album, and then she came out with this album. She was also in going through a really dark place here, darker than I now come to find out that I didn't know when I first heard this album.
Like what?
Well, so she was in a relationship with Alexis Marshall from Daughters.
Okay.
And Alexis Marshall from Daughters did some really fucked up shit to her.
Like, give us an example.
Allegedly.
You don't have to go to all of it.
So,
allegedly. Let's put that on the record. Allegedly.
Well, I don't want to get too into it because I feel like it's not my story to tell.
It's not his story to tell, but just give us a quick synopsis.
The most mild thing I can say is that he was very possessive, I guess.
Very possessive. Okay. Like obsessively possessive?
Yeah.
Like kept her from doing things?
Oh yeah.
Like kept her from leaving the house?
Among other, and like staying, even living in like even moving certain areas, or like staying where she wanted to, and so forth.
Okay.
Or even talking to people, like lots of stuff.
So she went through some shit before, like, to make this album.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And
so is there a high point? Is there a low point? Is the whole thing just so good that it's hard to even say that?
Everything is just so good on here. This is like my most listened album of the year, like new album of the year at least. And I heard this album like every time, like
Every time what?
I was like just like really like in pain about something. Been kind of like an interesting year for all of us, and I think in this album, like whenever anything happened, like I could just put it on and just relax and zone out and feel, and I could get the picture painted out of something that is something that's very like hard to like bring out, but like you bring it out and it's like there it is, there's the fire, let it burn because you can control the fire. And
So I'm gonna somewhat translate that. So it's a very like heart-wrenching album that was like to such a level that it made you want to like expose yourself emotionally. Like it made you feel like it was okay to lay things out on the table because she chose to do that when she made the album.
Yeah, like,
is that like?
I mean, yeah. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. I'm like she like I don't know, everything on here is just makes me feel like a different level, and everything like it's like a feeling, and it's like this album has like a lot of elements in it, and I love it because they clash together, and it's like it's not beautiful the way it clashes together, but then when it does clash together, it's very beautiful. It's and that's kind of what her music is. It's just like a lot of things. It's like
a gorgeous mess.
Yeah, she's very she came up following noise rock, or just noise bands in general.
Okay.
And she and you can hear that, a lot of that element. And she's also a classically trained singer. She has a very good classically trained voice, and so it's perfect. It's good at reaching out to me and just like going inside of me and making me feel like in like everything, like my whole body. Like this album's like a whole body like feeling, like for me, like like I like in the head and the heart, just in the like in my being. And yeah, I wouldn't change a single thing about it.
Wow. Okay, that's heavy. So let's list them again. So number 1.
Lingua ignata, sinner get ready.
So I've heard some people pronounce it lingua. Are you sure it's lingua?
It's lingua.
Lingua ignata, sinner get ready. Okay, number 2 was Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. What's 3? Emma Ruth Rundle.
Emma Ruth Rundle, Engine of Hell.
Engine of Hell. Number 4, Marissa Nadler. What is it? What's the album?
Path Through the Clouds.
Path Through the Clouds. Number 5.
Lindsey Buckingham.
Lindsey Buckingham by Lindsey Buckingham. Number 6.
Deaf Heaven, Infinite Granite.
Infinite Granite by Deaf Heaven. Number 7.
Lana Del Rey, Blue Banisters.
Blue Banisters, Lana Del Rey. Number 8.
Nick Cave and Warren Ellis, Carnage.
Perfect. Number 9.
King Woman, Celestial Blues.
Beautiful. And then number 10.
Wardruna.
Wardruna.
I'm going to butcher, so I'm not going to pronounce it.
We're not going to pronounce it. Wardruna's new album. Lingua Ignata, Jared's number 1 album. And now we're going to move to me, and we're going to talk about my albums of the year. We are going to start at my 10 spot, start at number 10. I'm going to preface this with I fucking love rap music. And so I listen to almost every new rap album that comes out. And so I have listened to almost every rap album that has come out in 2021. And this is mostly rap. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so my number 10 spot is going to be the deluxe edition of Isaiah Rashad's new album, Burning Down the House, or The House is Burning, or whatever it's called. The deluxe edition is called Homies Begged, because his homies begged for the deluxe edition. This fucking album is a vibe. It's R&B-esque, it's rap, it's trashy, it's good. It is a good damn listen. If you have not heard this album, check this album out. It is a banger, one of the best rap albums of 2021, one of the best albums of 2021. Listen to it. If you disagree with me, I'm blown away. If it isn't in your top 100 of 2021, anyone, and you actually listen to this, I just don't understand you. You're old or you're dumb, one or the other. I stand by that. You haven't heard it?
I haven't heard it.
You haven't heard
I
it?
haven't heard it.
That's okay. Listen to it. It's great. Isaiah Rashad, Homies Begged, the deluxe edition of his album in 2021. Next is something that we've already talked about, and it's something that I like for weird reason. It's St. Vincent, Daddy's Home. This album, I don't think it's as good as her last album. I fucking love St. Vincent, and I love this album almost as much, almost more, but more in a different way than I should than her last album, because it's trashy. I love trashy music, and it's not like trashy bad, it's not trashy weird, it's just like, there's something about it that you're like, man, this person's been through some shit, this is weird, this is strange, you really get a feel for who St. Vincent is.
It's like what you hear after like a little, like, it's like a one little hookup or something.
Yeah, yeah. Like, it really connects you to a part of who she is, and I think it was a great album. It is the only non-rap album in here. It's the only one that you cannot call rap in some way, shape, or form. It's great. Homies Begged, I would give a solid 8 to. I would give this one a solid 8.5 out of 10. These are both good albums. Next is an album that I didn't like as much the first couple listens, and I've listened to this album so many damn times in 2021, but I'm specifically am only talking about the original release. So this is, what is the name of this album? It has a weird name. It's Try E for Yourself, and it's by IDK. It is a banger from start to finish. It has things that connect you to who he is. He shares horrible things about his past. He has a Slick Rick feature, and it's a good-ass Slick Rick feature. Slick Rick is one of the greatest rappers of all time, but he only had one album in him.
Yep.
He had one album in him, but man, oh man, can he rap. And when he raps, it's so good. We talked about this before. Without Slick Rick, there would be no Snoop Dogg. And man, he delivered on the track on this album. And it's just good. The original release is good. The deluxe edition, he just added shit. It's fucking bad songs that I'm glad they weren't on the original release because it wouldn't have made it in here. The blue cover, you can just drop that shit at the door. It's not even worth it. I wouldn't pay. If both albums were available and I could buy both for the exact same price, and I know one comes with 4 or 5 extra songs, I'm going to buy the original release. I do not like the deluxe edition. I stand by that. This one is another 8.5 for me. Ooh, it's a good album. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Next is an album that was interesting. I didn't expect to like it, and I loved it. So it is King's Disease 2 by Nas. I will constantly shit-talk Illmatic. It is not that good of an album. King's Disease 2 is a better album than Illmatic. Illmatic is an album that half of it's great, and the other half isn't good enough, and so people need to stop talking about it like it's the best fucking rap album of all time. Get out of here! Get out of here!
I jump in here, but I haven't heard this Nas album, so I can't.
King's Disease 2 is much better than Illmatic. So is Nas's other album that came out this year. We'll talk about that in a bit. But King's Disease 2 is just a clean, nice rap album. You get to hear about Nas's life, you get to hear about his success, and you get to hear about it in a way that's just nice. It doesn't. He's not trying to be gritty. He's not trying to be this. He's not trying to be that. He's just making good music because he can, and he's choosing to gift it to us. Nas is something special in rap, but Illmatic isn't that good, and I stand by that.
Together.
The covers look good together?
Yeah.
They do look good together. It kind of looks like Nas's King's Disease and IDK's album are like meant to be right next to each other.
Yeah.
It's kind of beautiful. I would give this one, this is probably another 8.5. This might be skirting towards the 9, but I think it's just an 8.5. The next album is, I think it's like, I'm horrible at remembering album names, so I do apologize for that. It is Sometimes I Might Be an Introvert by Little Sims. If you haven't checked out Little Sims yet, if you don't know who Little Sims is, fucking hit yourself. Hit yourself in the head. Little Sims is great. Little Sims is one of the best up-and-coming female rappers. She comes out of somewhere in England, and she is great. She has a good cadence. She has a good flow. She has good wordplay, and she has meaningful lyrics throughout all of her music. I feel like An Introvert kind of gives you this picture of who she is, and it lays out a lot about her, and it kind of showcases to some degree the importance of mental health. And I think there's this thing where our society is starting to kind of actually like pay attention to mental health, but we still talk about it in a weird way. Mental health is something that everyone's going to go through at some point in their life. Some people a lot more than others, but everyone will go through it. If they live long enough, if they have enough experiences, they will have it. And it's nice to see that musicians are being more open about it. It's always been something in music where you talk about what's going on with you, but sometimes you hide things underneath lyricism, you hide them underneath other music, or you use metaphors or similes or whatever. She's not doing that. She's putting it pretty front and center, and I really, really appreciate that. I'm going to go right back through all of the ones that we already listed because I realized I'm not really explaining who these people are. Isaiah Rashad is one of the members of Top Dog Entertainment, which is still currently kind of figureheaded by Kendrick Lamar. It sounds like Kendrick Lamar is going to be leaving here soon from Top Dog, but Top Dog, Kendrick Lamar's kind of rap collective. St. Vincent is this incredible rock musician, female rock musician, who's just been doing great things for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
So it's been longer, I can.
Has it been longer than 10 years?
It's been
For a while.
15, yeah.
Over a decade and a half. IDK is a rapper that's been coming up the last about 3-4 years, getting more and more prominent. His last couple projects were pretty good, but I think by far this is his best. Nas, if you don't know Nas, do you exist?
Yeah. I met a guy once who was really surprised. He's wearing a Nas shirt. I'm like, I like your shirt, man. He was like, wow, I'm surprised you know who that is.
Oh,
Do you know who Nas is?
Apparently a lot of people don't.
There's like 4 rappers more famous than Nas. And like one's right there. Like who? Would you have Big, Nas? Sorry, you have Big, Tupac, M. Like who else is Jay-Z?
Yeah.
Like who else do you put before Nas?
Would you put Snoop before Nas?
White people know Snoop before they know Nas.
I'd say like
Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
But there aren't many. Like he's like you know who he is.
Yeah. He's like
You know who Nas is.
one of the most.
And Lil Sims, up and coming. She's gonna be top dog soon, and her album is incredible. Next is, I want to put this at the top, but I feel like I can't. I want to put this at the top, but I feel like I can't. I'm gonna say it one more time. I want to put this at the top, but I don't think that I can. This is Vince Staples by Vince Staples. That is his self-titled project. It is too damn short for me to put at the top. It's like 20-something minutes long. I've heard this album, start to finish, front to back, probably 100 times this year. It's short, it's beautiful, it's well put. You're taking a lot. Before I dive in, Vince Staples is a rapper out of the LBC, Long Beach City. He came up somewhat near a couple different rappers. He came up not in Odd Future, but kind of congruent to Odd Future. He came up not with Mac Miller, but congruent to Mac Miller. And so he had his own trajectory that kind of followed these other musicians. And he did his own thing. And he did his own thing without like selling out at fucking all.
Yeah.
He chose to make music that he wanted to make. If you go watch Vince Staples talk about his music, he'll make music because he thinks it'll sound good in a certain arena. He made Crabs in a Bucket because he thought it would sound dope in concerts. He's like, I don't care if the album sounds good. It sounded like it'd be good in the concerts. There's a lot of like house music in there, and I thought it was pretty dope. To make this album's 20 minutes long. He wrote 250 songs in like a 4-month period. Vince Staples is a powerhouse. Vince Staples can do whatever the fuck he wants. Vince Staples is maybe the most talented rapper out there right now. I'm not going to say he's the best, but he's so fucking talented. He's
really
so fucking good.
Yeah.
And what's weird about Vince Staples is I found out about Vince Staples years ago because I was reading an article about musicians you should listen to if you like Bob Dylan. This is a legitimate story. And in here, the number 1 spot, some old man wrote this article. It was on some like folk music page thing long time ago. It was like right after his first project came out, and they're like, Vince Staples is a folk musician in a rapper's body, and I agree with that shit fully. I love folk, I love rap, and I love Vince Staples. Listen to this damn album. There is not a bad song on it. There's not a bad section to it. It is perfect. I'm gonna give this album a fucking 10, but it's at my number 5 spot. Vince Staples by Vince Staples. Listen to it. Have you heard it?
Yeah.
Have you heard it?
Yeah.
Fucking good. It's fucking good. I love this album. I don't love mini albums. I love this fucking album. Vince Staples. Next is it's such a good album. It's such a good album. It's Injury Reserve's newest album. Injury Reserve is a rap collective that does something. It's kind of hip hop. It's kind of sound hop. It's this interesting, playful thing. And this is the last album that features their now passed away member. I always forget his name. I apologize to people who care. But it is so meaningful. So this is By the Time I Get to Phoenix by Injury Reserve. There's something about a lot of these new albums that are coming out, and I'm saying this because I think it really fits with this. Hey, Piho. I don't know if it's because people have been with themselves so much or they've been alone, but like there's a lot less fizzle. Like there's a lot more serious music, and this is they're talking about life, they're talking about each other, they're talking about their relationships, they're talking about like actual shit. It's not just like I fucked a girl in the ass and made her come, money, 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 money. It's like, oh shit, life's hard, life sucks. I had to do some shit to get here. My mama doesn't like me. It's a good album. Give it a listen. There's power in it. I'm gonna give this one 10. This is a fucking 10. It's a fucking 10. This is a fucking 10. I love it. Check out Injury Reserve. Check out Before I Get to Phoenix. By the Time I Get to Phoenix. Excuse me. The next album, this one was hard. This one was another hard one for me. And it is West Side Gun's album, Hitler Wears Hermes 8, Side B. Side A and Side B, both long as hell, both great. I like Side B slightly better. Side A, if you can consider both of them one album, I would put it here. But man, oh man, is this a fun fucking listen. Again, it's trashy. I like trashy. I don't care about things being clean all the time. I don't think music needs to be clean. I think music's to show emotion. It's a form of art. Art is an expressive form. And so West Side Gun's album, Hitler Wears Hermes 8, Side B, because this man just fucking is prolific as hell. He just produces music all the time. I think in a 10-year period he's put out like 15 albums or more. The way that this sounds is it sounds like you walked into a basement of a hotel building in like the Bronx or Brooklyn or Bed-Stuy or Buffalo. And there's just a line of just the most hood people you know just walking up to a mic and just rapping over these dirty, ratchet beats. And I listened to these two albums just on loop. Side A and Side B. If you consider it as one album, it's over 2 hours. It would be a long fucking album. I listened to it on loop for like 6 months. I just kept listening to it. And I would go back and I'd listen to something and I'd come back to it. And I'd come back to it. And I'd come back to it. It's dirty, it's grimy, it's beautiful. And I love it. I love it. This and Side A both get a fucking 10. If you don't know who West Side Gun is, West Side Gun is a member of the rap collective that was recently signed, and I think they started their own record company after. Signed by Shady Records. Griselda. Griselda is named after the drug kingpin Griselda Blanco. Griselda Blanco is a horrible drug kingpin. She is probably the most notorious female drug kingpin of all time. Did horrible shit to a bunch of people. And so they're like, yeah, let's do a rap group after it. West Side Gun is a part of this collective, and the whole collective's great. I think he's kind of the shining star right now, but we'll see what the rest do in the next year. It's a fucking 10. It's a 10. It is a 10. I'm not kidding you. It's a 10. Next is D Smoke's newest album. D Smoke, if you do not know who he is, D Smoke, weirdly enough, started his music career by going through the Netflix competition that's essentially American Idol, Rhythm and Flow. And it's literally American Idol but with rap. And it's weird that he did it this way, and it's weird that he chose to become famous this way, because he is the brother of another TDE alum, Sir. Sir is the R&B artist from TDE, and D-Smoke just puts out clean rap records. D-Smoke is a music teacher and a Spanish teacher in inner city Inglewood. This album is clean front to back. This album is about pride. It's about power. It's about caring about yourself. It's about being empowered. I don't know if it's as good as his first album, but it is a good album. This is War and Wonders by D-Smoke. Another fucking 10. It's another 10. I feel crazy
10,
giving
10.
these 10s. These are 10s, my man. These are 10s, my man.
Ty Dillinger.
Giving out 10s like you're Oprah Winfrey.
Giving out 10s like I'm Oprah fucking
Like
Winfrey.
you're Oprah Winfrey in a room full of Ty Dillingers.
I have a lot of things where I'm like, man, I wish they would make the cut. I wish they were a little bit better, a little bit different. But there were so many good albums this year that it was hard to come up with a top 10 list. A lot of these we've already talked about. Courtney Barnett's album, ooh, it's clean. Courtney Barnett knows what she's doing. She's putting out good music. She's doing things that she wants to do, and it shows. It's powerful. It's beautiful. I fucking love it. I think we all love it. If you haven't checked out Courtney Barnett, go check her out. Adele's newest album, it would never make it in my top 10. Let's be honest with it. It would never make it into my top 10. But you know what? Not bad. Check it out. 30 by Adele. Weirdly good. Better than I thought. There's an album that's, I didn't feel like it would make it into the top 10 because it's a deluxe release of an album that came out in 2020. And so I felt like putting that in my 2021 top 10 would be weird because the majority of the album came out in 2020. But it is The Sharecropper's Daughter by Ciroc, the deluxe version. Ciroc is probably the best female rapper out right now. No one knows who she is. I can't say anything but listen to the album. It's solid. It's great. It has an MF Doom feature. Go listen to it. Ciroc, The Sharecropper's Daughter, Deluxe Edition. Ooh. The Alchemist has done some shit this year. I love The Alchemist. The Alchemist might be my favorite producer in rap. And he had Haram featuring Armand Hammer. That's a good album. That's a good album. Go check it out. Go check it out. Pighead on the front. That's how you know you did it. The Alchemist also had a collab with Boldy James. Put out Bo Jackson. It's just a fucking banger. It's just a fucking banger. It's just a fucking banger. But in a year where you have all of these beautiful, well thought out albums, bangers just don't hit the same. Like, they just don't hit the same. Like, if you want to throw out bangers and you want to throw out just rap, hard rap, you got to be doing what fucking Griselda's doing. You got to be doing what West Side Gun's doing. You got to have this grimy, beautiful shit. Blue Banisters for Lana Del Rey. It's good. It's good. I don't think it was a great album, but it had a lot of good parts. DMX's first posthumous album. There's no way it's making it to my top 10, but it's the best thing that's been put out from DMX in a long time. I think it deserves a shout out. Oh man, I do enjoy this album a lot. Go check out Exodus by DMX, his first posthumous album. Ooh, the deluxe version of Pinata by Freddie Gibbs and Madlib came out in 2021. It is so long, but if you like music, if you like rap, if you're interested in making beats, if you're interested in that process at all, go listen to it. Go listen to the deluxe edition of Pinata by Freddie Gibbs and Madlib. Madlib, phenomenal. Ooh. This is one that some people might disagree with me on. This is one that some people might hate me for. Lil Nas X's album, good album. Not close to my top 10. Good album, deserves a shout out. Go listen to Montero by Lil Nas X. I think those are the ones that really, really matter for me. I think those are by far the ones that really matter for me. But then we have our number one spot. And our number one spot, I feel like, isn't going to be a shock to anyone. But the number one spot for me, the Twitcher, is by far a standout. It's a standout. It is Tyler, the Creator, Call Me If You Get Lost. This album is perfect. This album is beautiful. This album is everything I want and more. I love this album. Start to finish, great. Tyler hasn't put out pretty much anything bad, like a project that's actually bad. He's had projects that weren't amazing. Like, I'm not going to call Goblin amazing. I'm not going to call Igor amazing. I'm not even going to call Cherry Bomb amazing. And I love Cherry Bomb. This is amazing. This is amazing because you see him learning from every single thing that he's done. You see every little bit of Tyler the Creator in this, but you see a grown-up version of it, you see an adult version of it, you see something that's well-formed, you see something that's well thought out, you see something that's emotional, you see something that's connected. You have this overarching story that then covers his growth, his change, his development over his career. Because Tyler started young. He was like 16 when Bastard came out. He was releasing music before that. Odd Future became a thing when he was like, again, 15 or 16. I was 15 when I first drew that donut. 10 years later, now the company, we own it. Tyler is so good. If you aren't listening to Tyler, if you have something against Tyler, reconsider. Listen to Tyler again. Sit down. It's a great album. If you have a hard time with the hard rap, go listen to Flower Boy. If for some reason you like trash, go listen to Igor. Do what feels right to you. He is a fucking force to be reckoned with. He's incredible, and he's putting out music that matters. There isn't a bad song in here. He's amazing features. I feel like he has been capturing the best Lil Wayne features of the past 10 years. If you go through and you listen to Tyler's albums, he has the best Lil Wayne features. I don't know how he gets it. I don't know if there's like a certain like relationship they have. I don't know if they like play off each other in a certain way. He has the best Lil Wayne features that we've gotten in such a long time. And every single project that he's Wayne featured on is great. Oh man, Tyler, I can't say enough about this album. For a favorite track, Massa is near the top, but I don't know if it's my favorite. Oh, it's a hard thing to do. Wilshire is great. Wilshire is phenomenal. It's long. It's dirty. It's not clean cut, but I feel like it needs to be that way because it's showing the emotion, it's showing the care, it's showing the compassion, it's showing this kind of relationship of unrequited love, of understanding that he's in this fucked up situation where he's potentially screwing over a friend to have someone that he loves, and he's trying to steal someone away from someone. It's like a dirty Romeo and Juliet, and I mean that in a good way. I mean that in a really good way. This album is so good. I'm not fucking with you. I'm not playing with you. It is so good. Listen to it. I'm not joking. That is my number one album of 2021. We have 2021, the Twitchers Top 10. At the 10 spot, we have Homies Begged by Isaiah Rashad, or the deluxe version of The House is Burning by Isaiah Rashad. In the 9 spot, we have Daddy's Home by St. Vincent. In the 8 spot, we have Use E For Yourself, the original release, not the deluxe release, by IDK. In the 7 spot, we have King's Disease by Nas. King's Disease 2 by Nas. In the 6th spot, we have Sometimes I Might Be an Introvert by Little Sims. In the 5th spot, and this one, it's so hard to not put at the top, Piho, I See Ya, I Get Ya, I'm Glad You're Talking. In the 5th spot, we have the self-titled album by Vince Staples. It is a fucking good album. You can listen to it over and over again and not get tired. If it was longer, it'd be the number 1 spot, and I mean that. In the 4th spot, we have By the Time I Get to Phoenix by Injury Reserve. In the 3rd spot, we have Hitler's Wears Hermes or Hermes, depending on who's pronouncing it. 8, side B, if we're counting the whole thing as one album, the whole thing, side A and side B, by West Side Gun. Number 2, War and Wonders by D-Smoke. And number 1, Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. It is good. All right. That's my top 10. Top 10, 2021. So Bridie. I know I was loud. I know I was aggressive.
Time to actually stop the silent treatment now. My turn to talk.
Now, we got Bridie's turn to talk. So let's let's start off with that 10 spot for Big Bright Blind.
Number 10 is gonna be Flowers for Vases by Hayley Williams.
Flowers for Vases.
If you don't know who Hayley Williams is, then you're definitely under a rock. She was like the lead singer she was like the lead singer to Paramore. She like started out in there, and she like just recently started releasing solo stuff like for the past 2 years, and they're really good. I really like it, and the reason why this one's my number 10 is because it was a really solid album. It was a nice like kind of like a folklore sound to it.
Oh, okay.
That I enjoyed, and like you can just tell it was recorded at their house. It was like nice and like it just felt like home. It was nice, and that's my top. That's number 10 for me.
Number 10. Okay. Would you give it a rating?
If I had to rate this
out of 10.
8.5.
8.5 for the 10 spot. That's pretty good. All right. Next we have
Orla Gartland, Woman on the Internet. This album is actually one of the albums I was looking forward to, like in 2021. And I first heard it, I didn't really care for it. I thought it was disappointing because all the singles were so fucking good. But like the more I heard it, like I'm like, wow, I love this album. And now it's like, it's number 9. I was expecting to make it this far on the album, at least, like this far on the list. And for those of you who don't know who Orla Gartland is, she is a singer-songwriter from like who originally started out on YouTube. She does like singer-songwriter, like folky, like rock kind of music, and it's pretty good. And she's one of my favorites from now. And
my favorites from now. Okay.
If I had to rate this album, I'd probably give it. I'll give it another 8.5.
Another 8.5. Okay, and the next we have
Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator.
That's a good one.
I wasn't expecting to put it this down in the list because this is such a great album.
It's a great album.
And it's Tyler back at it, like making me like really get into rap music again. Cause, like for the longest time, I like stopped listening to it. But like then I heard this album, I'm like wow. And this just a really great album. It's like everyone's been saying, he hasn't released a bad thing at all. And
worst thing got him a Grammy.
Exactly.
Worst thing got him a fucking Grammy.
And this definitely deserves a spot in my top 10 list. If this wasn't on my list, I don't even know what I'd be crazy.
It's it's incredible how good it is.
Yeah.
And it's something. No, why? It just killed me. Give me a second. The stream just died. It's my fault. Oh, don't you dare fuck me. Don't you dare. It's still recording, so we're going to upload this to YouTube like this. I'm not going to do some edited thing to YouTube.
Nah, it's too much work.
Too much work. I might eventually. Are you kidding me? Are we just broken?
Are we broken?
No.
And get your address in 3... Wait, Asian friend? What are you doing, Pio? What? Oh, you monster. Give me a second. Well, no, fuck. Bitch. Okay. Alright. And we're back! We're back! We're back! Hello! Okay.
Sorry about the delay.
Yeah, sorry about the delay. So, the last one was Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. On all 3 top 10 lists, I have to say that means something. What is next? What's the next?
The next is going to be Church's Screen Violence.
Sometimes pronounced Chvrches.
Yep. And this is like a nice synthy like gothic rock album that like which is really odd for them because they're mostly like all like poppy and like upbeat like new like synth type stuff.
I'll be right back. Keep going.
But this album was like completely different from anything else they did. It still had the similar sound, of course, but like overall, like the lyrics and everything were a lot darker, and the album was just a lot better. And like, and it has a Robert Smith feature too. You can't go wrong with that.
I love Robert Smith.
Yeah, and so it's Church's Screen Violence. Gatefold too.
What'd you rate it?
I'd rate this album. I'd give it an 8.7.
8.7. 8.7 for Chvrches' new album. Beautiful.
Alright, up next we have got Angels and Airwaves, Life Forms.
Angels and Airwaves, Life Forms.
Got the record there as well.
Beautiful.
And
hold this way.
it's very nice. It's a nice long, because like Angels and Airwaves haven't released an album since 2014.
It's just a silver record.
And of course they released EPs left and right, but like this, I kept on a long time waiting for this album. Like they released singles, and they were really good singles. And then like by the time this was released, I was like so happy. I just like fell in love with it right away.
You are right, Miss Little Insane. This is a good one.
It's just like a great album, and of course, Angels and Airwaves is one of my favorite bands right now too. So this is just a nice, long, special delivery gift from Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, who is actually the lead singer in Angels and Airwaves.
Really?
Yep.
just like a disapproving dad.
But yeah. The record has a nice like sleeve thing.
So
out.
if you like Blink-182, you're gonna like this, aren't you?
Yeah, that's completely different though.
Is it completely different?
Yeah, Angels and Airwaves is more of like a space rock ambient type.
Does he have a similar vocal quality in this as he does in Blink-182?
This one, yeah. The other Angels and Airwaves albums, not really, but this one, you can definitely tell he has a similar vocal to what
Miss Little Insane is all about this album.
And comes the booklet, which is nice.
Ooh, that is
The
nice.
song lyrics.
That's very nice.
The record's also a different color.
Ooh, that's a beautiful record. It doesn't look as good on stream, but it's way cooler in person. It's like way greener in person. I don't know. It's coming across so blue on stream.
If I had to rate this album,
Where'd you put it?
I'd probably put this one at 9.
Dude, we just did a jump. We're going up to 9 now. All right. A
Great
9
album.
for Angels and Airwaves. Man.
Number 5 now.
Number 5, yeah.
We got another record, and it's gonna be Spirit Box, Eternal Blue.
I'm gonna pause real quick. This album is fucking good.
Yep.
If you like this kind of music, it's good. Tell us about Spirit Box.
Spirit
What kind of
Box
music are they?
is a band I've been following since like they first came up, like in 2017. It's just like their one EP,
So fucking cool.
and I like really like them. They're like very like different compared to like a lot of the other like stuff that you like think would sound like nowadays. 'Cause you know how like a lot of that like stuff sounds.
What kind of stuff? What is this?
A lot of people would consider like Jared first thought this was kind of like those like bad emo stuff, but definitely not.
I never said
Definitely not. You said you said you're
It's definitely not bad emo stuff.
yeah, it's like nice it's like experimental like nice metal. So
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. What would you rate it? What about this like puts it so far up your list? Because we're in the 5 spot now.
this album, what plays this album so far for me is because it like orchestrates the whole like album. This basically sounds like one song, or orchestrates like a one whole thing. It just like never ends. And,
That's
like,
a really good way to put it.
it's nice, and
It has an orchestral quality.
all songs fit perfectly together. You can't hear
gorgeous.
one song without hearing the next song. It's like so good.
Man, I took a long shower to this album, and it's fun.
It's a great album.
It's a good album.
If I had to rate it,
Yeah, would you rate it?
I'll give this one another 9 too.
Another 9. We're lining up with 9. So
Number 4.
Number 4.
We got Carnage by Nick Cave. And
Oh,
Warren Ellis.
Carnage popping up again.
This is one of the first albums I heard at the beginning of the year that I really liked right away, because like I heard all his whole discography like this year alone, and it was nice. It was a nice like ending at the end of like the whole discography, and I just really like the album. It has like one of my favorite Nick Cave songs, Lavender Fields. It's a great song, and if I had to rate this album, I'd probably give it another 9.
We're just lining up with 9s for Brightline. And then
Next one.
We're in the number 3 spot. Number 3
is Dodie, Build a Problem.
Dodie, Build a Problem.
This is another another album I was really looking forward to hearing in like 2021, and I like love Dodie. She's like my favorite like singer songwriter from now, and she is just amazing, and like the whole B-side has a nice, you know, the like old like the nice folky orchestral sound to it.
I don't think I've heard this album,
Yeah,
or I would kind of.
It's really nice, but like the second side of the whole album has they all connect. It's a nice.
So you have another kind of like a
Yeah.
folk orchestral
Yeah.
orchestral sound.
And it's just really good music. I can't skip one song off this album. I love this album.
No skips.
No.
Like if you start the album, you're like, man, I gotta finish this album.
Exactly.
Oh
Yeah.
man, the feeling that is when you start something, like I better have time to finish this.
This album just like grabs me in as soon as I listen to it. It's like,
That's-
first track grabs me right in.
That's some powerful shit. Number 3, right there was Dodie. What do we got in the number 2 spot?
Number
Wait,
2.
what would you rate it?
What would I rate this album? 9.5.
9.5. That's a good rating. Now we have in the number 2 spot. Who do we have in the number 2 spot?
Number 2, we got Lindsey Buckingham.
Lindsey
Self-titled album.
Buckingham, self-titled album. Second time coming up in this stream.
This album came up as a surprise to me because he didn't really announce anything until he got his divorce and everything. His wife filed for divorce and he's like, yep, I'm releasing a new album. And
Is that 3 divorces?
It did not disappoint
No, not for
at
him.
all.
I mean, in what we're talking about.
Oh yeah.
It's 3 divorces.
And this is another one of the albums I heard a good amount this year too. And because I wasn't expecting it to sound good. I was because you know how old Lindsey's old, right?
How old is Lindsey Buckingham?
He's like 72.
Man, it's late 60s, early 70s, somewhere in that range.
Yeah,
and he's still putting out music.
Age,
he does look good for his age. He's a hottie.
He just dropped this album wow, he still got it. It just shows he still got it.
He's 100% just a hottie body.
And literally anything produced by Lindsey Buckingham is amazing.
Yeah.
The bad Fleetwood Mac albums aren't produced by Lindsey Buckingham.
He's 72. Lindsey Buckingham is a 72-year-old
I was right.
heartthrob.
But yeah. Great album. If I had to rate it, 9.7.
9.7 for the self-titled Lindsey Buckingham album. So before we get to the number 1 spot for you, what are some honorable mentions? What are some things you're like, man, I wish I could have put them in my top 10. I wish I could have talked about them more.
There's a few
and
I
just shoot
got.
through them.
Some of them are I got Nothing Nowhere's Pain Place, which is a good album, but I came in with low expectations because his third album was really disappointing, and his first 2 are really good. But I heard it, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good, shockingly. Then, if I had to rate it, I'd probably give it about a 7.
Wait your turn, Miss Little Insane. We might get there. Keep going.
And now, we also got Wolf Alice Blue Weekend. That's another one that I really wish I wanted to put in my top 10s, but it just couldn't beat these ones. I
haven't heard this one. I really want to hear Wolf Alice.
I would hear good things about her.
It was just it's just a nice beach sound to it, and it's really nice. And probably rated an 8. And we got John Mayer's Sob Rock, which is a nice 80s influenced album. It's pretty good. And
if you haven't heard John Mayer's new album, also if you're sleeping on John Mayer, if you somehow are still sleeping on John Mayer, you're like, oh, John Mayer's not good because he broke Taylor's heart, or whatever fucking reason you're not listening to John Mayer, you're doing yourself a disservice. Do you remember when I made you listen to John Mayer?
Yeah.
How much more do you like John Mayer?
I love John Mayer.
John Mayer's so good. He's a weird guy, but he makes good music.
He's probably the best mainstream radio friendly guitarist.
And he writes his own stuff. So.
Yeah, I think he went to Juilliard and he dropped out because he's like, I'm gonna make my own music. He's good. John Mayer knows what he's talking about. John Mayer's good. The 80s influences are so good. You better love them. Sorry to interrupt you.
Now we got Poppy's Flux, which is a really good album. I just heard it. It was pretty good, and I really enjoyed it. I liked it a little more than I Disagree, which is their last album. But
no, I don't agree with that.
I agree.
I disagree.
I thought it was pretty good. It was a nice metal sound to it. And next up, we got...
I don't like Poppy.
I heart Poppy.
No Poppy.
Next, we got Lord Solar Power, which is...
I need to listen to this.
Which is a nice album I heard during the summertime while I was working. It was a perfect summer album. It was nice. And it was I thought it was really good right away. And
what?
Now we got Emma Blackery, Girl in a Box.
I don't know this.
Emma Blackery is another YouTube singer-songwriter.
That's why I don't know who this is.
And this album is more of a dark, wave kind of album, which is really different compared to her first album, which is nice and kind of synth pop stuff.
Okay.
And she also has a really good cover of How Soon Is Now, which is really nice. And I just think the album's really good. And next, we got Deaf Heaven, Infinite Granite. I really, really wanted to put this in my top 10, but I just couldn't.
Agenda.
I love this album. It was I heard it the other day and it clicked right away. It was so good. And then we got Sculptured, The Liminal Phase, which is another album I liked right away, because it clicked right away too. And I also really wanted to put in my top 10, but it didn't make the cut, sadly. But it was a nice album. And then we got Marina, Ancient Dreams in a Modern Land, which is nice. Pretty good album. Another one I really liked right away, but couldn't fit in the top 10, sadly. This one is Lana Del Rey, Blue Banisters, which is another honorable mention of mine, which I really wanted to put in my top 10, but didn't make it. This is all these right here. And then we also got the 21 Pilots Scaled and Icy album, which is their worst album by far, but I was surprised on how much I enjoyed it for the most part, because I was expecting to hate it, absolutely hate it, which is why it's one of my honorable mentions.
You'll hate it if you listen to it, watchers. It's not good. And I actually kind of like 21 Pilots. This thing is fucking awful. Keep going.
And another one is Kanye West's Donda, which had too much filler, as we discussed earlier. Otherwise, it would have been a great album. And the next one is the Luke Hemmings, When Facing the Things We Turn Away From, which is a nice folk album.
I don't know if I've heard that.
And it's very different, because he's I hate his band, but his band is 5 Seconds of Summer. I hate his band.
Get away from me. Alright.
Album's probably not good.
But the album was surprisingly
Alright.
good. So,
I don't know what's happening here.
This sounds nothing like his band.
Okay.
And now it's time for number 1. Shall we do it?
Let's talk about Bright Blind's number 1.
Number 1's going to be pretty obvious. It is obvious.
I don't know if it's obvious to everyone yet. It will become an obvious thing if this is a reoccurring thing, which it hopefully will be. Music Talk, if it lasts, this will become very obvious. What's your number 1?
Ali and AJ. A touch of the beat gets you up on your feet, gets you out, and then into the sun.
That's a long fucking title.
I've loved Ali and AJ
that's
since I was a kid, and I didn't realize they were making music still until recently, a few years ago. And this album came out, they announced this album, and I was really looking forward to listening to it. And this is one album I heard more than any other album this year, which is why it's number 1. And
very fair.
And it just has a nice summer feel to it, and it's a nice soft rock sound to it, and it's just. I just love the album, and the band, which is their first album, in 14 years. Because their last album was, they released stuff now and then, but this is their first full-length album in 14 years, which is really nice, because a nice treat to my childhood self is Ali and AJ. And look at the record. Records are nice too.
Oh, that's a beautiful record. Okay, Ali and AJ is your number 1. You shot through the fastest out of all of us, by far. So explain to us why Ali and AJ gets this number 1 fucking spot for you. Because I want to understand.
Yeah.
I'm not going to discredit what you like,
no.
but I want to understand, and I want you to explain it. Because I want to hear your thought process.
Yes.
Because, as I mentioned, they are a band I liked since I was a kid, and I've heard this album the most out of anything else, and it's just an album I connect to the most, because the nice lyrics and the amount of emotion that they put into one slow dancing is nice. And
You're freezing. We put some pressure on you, and you're freezing.
Can I ask you a question, Brian?
Yeah.
Please.
All right,
shoot
so
me.
with both me and Twitcher's number 1 album, I think we can say those 2 albums are just a wonderful, just perfect work of art. They're just phenomenal. They're just phenomenal albums.
I will shout it from the fucking rooftops that Call Me If You Get Lost is so good. It's not perfect, but that doesn't fucking exist. It's so good.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this album.
Explain it.
Because
Wait. Yeah, give me.
Yeah.
Finish your question. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, why that a work of art? Like, is there what what are the pictures? What are the feelings? Like, what is
the feeling? It has a nice.
What kind of music is it? What is it?
Yeah, explain to. Okay, so I think some people know who Ali and AJ are, but I don't think many people do. So first off, who are Ali and AJ? How did they get started? How did they progress through their career? How has their music grown? And then why is this the standout album for you? And it's fine if it's because it like hits you with some nostalgic feelings. If it's fine if it heats up your childhood, but I want to hear why.
Yeah.
Ali and AJ has been making music since they were teenagers in 2005 on Disney's Hollywood Records label, and like Ali was one of the stars of Phil of the Future, and they had in 2005 they had like a 2005, 06, and 07 album. Like they're really good. The first one's not my favorite, but like it's still really good. And
is it actually really good? Or are you just saying that because you like Ali and AJ?
Yeah.
The first album takes me back to childhood, but like
so you
it's
have
probably
the
my least
nostalgia
favorite
connection.
project of theirs.
Okay,
to be
least
honest,
favorite project. So what kind of sound did they have with their first project, and then did the sound change with each project, or did it stay similar?
Yeah, their first album was like very like uppy pop like kid stuff, and like it was just kid struggle, like teenage struggles, like I don't fit in, stuff like that. And,
okay.
Which is good.
What's up to you?
Then their second album, which was a Christmas album.
Oh, second album was a Christmas album.
So
I didn't know that.
I only hear it around Christmas time, but like it has a nice holiday sound to it, which I like.
Okay.
And their third album is more of like a pop rock album.
Okay.
And
pop rock.
And
would you say in general that their kind of sound is pop music?
Yeah, their whole sound's probably pop, to be honest.
Okay, it's just like different variant types of pop.
And they had 2 unreleased projects that sound completely different from the stuff they released. They're like they had like one unreleased project after their third album that was like it was still pop, but it was like more of a pop punk sound to it.
Okay.
Which has with some psychedelic influence.
Ooh, a little psychedelic pop punk.
Yeah, and then they had a nice folklore album after that
okay.
They recently just released as like a fan club exclusive.
Okay, and when you're talking about this album, you're talking about how it has like a folklore-esque quality to it.
Yeah, it has a nice soft rock influence behind it. So, and after their folklore album, they had 2 EPs that are very synthy.
Okay,
so,
2 synthy EPs after. Okay.
And then you got this album, which is soft rock and more instrumentation, unlike the last 2 EPs.
Yeah.
And they actually wrote this whole album themselves, unlike the other ones. They had like no help on this album.
So this is kind of akin to when the Monkees started like doing all of their own stuff.
Yeah, so this is like a very organic Ali and AJ sound to this album. It's like full on them.
How would you describe the sound? Like if you had to describe the sound as quickly as possible, how would you describe it?
I'd probably stick with a nice just soft rock summery sound.
Nice soft rock summery sound. Do either one of them play instruments?
Yeah, they both do.
Nice. Okay, so with all of that, with all of the questions, with you going through all that, why is this your number 1 album?
Because it's very nostalgic and it's nice, and I just get a warm feeling when I listen to this album.
You just get covered in warmth.
Yeah, and I just feel at ease and at peace when I listen to this album. It just calms me down. It's like great. That's why I love this album. That's why it's my number 1.
Okay, that's why it's his number 1 album. Okay, now we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something that's a little fucking mean, and that's because I think it's fun, and I think I'll enjoy it, and I think everyone else will enjoy it. I'm gonna start with you, Jared, and we'll go person by person. Take turns as we do, and I would like to ask you if you could take one album out of my top 10 and one album out of Brightblind's top 10 and just like shit on it. Or just be like, why is it here? Or like really be like, I don't know how this made it in your top 10 with all these other albums out. What would they be?
Alright, well...
I'm gonna get comfy for this part. You can get one for both of us. I know you can.
Yeah,
Totally
alright,
can.
well... I mean, I am going... I mean, I haven't heard like most of either of your guys'. I've only heard.
We're making it hard for you.
I've only heard 3 of your guys' albums each, but
okay.
There are There are a couple I don't know, I'm a little questioned about, but I don't actually...
In mind, which one are you the most, are you like, what is going on?
Well, I am super, I don't know, I don't really know. I haven't...
You gotta have one, man.
Okay, well, I haven't heard anything of that album, but I haven't been impressed by what I've heard from West Side Gun. It hasn't been much. But...
So, what I think the thing that's interesting about Griselda and
Hi,
about
Corey.
West Side Gun and about, like, whoa, what up, Cord, stop leaving, hang out, leave it on, bro. Hang out, man. West Side Gun, I don't know if he's my favorite out of Griselda, but there's this very dirty sound, and this is a good one to pick on because out of these, it is the least emotional, it's the least meaningful, it's the least impactful, but I fucking love it. So I grew up listening to a lot of East Coast rap. I grew up listening to Wu-Tang Clan regularly. I grew up listening to Busta Bus, Tribe Called Quest, all of these like African empowerment groups that came out of the East Coast. And there's this grimy sound that comes with a lot of them that's just kind of gross. And it's a weird way to describe it. It literally sounds like you're just trying to cast the new Wu-Tang Clan, and everyone's just is aggressive and mean, and they're saying the most fucked up shit possible. But then you'll have these features. Like there's a Tyler feature on this album where Tyler's just fucking around, he's just being playful, he's just being coy, and it's amazing. There's also something that you would appreciate about this album. There's also something you would appreciate about all of their albums. All of Griselda loves WWE, and they use WWE sounds from like old matches, old interviews, old this, old that throughout their music. They have a lot of weird metaphors that go on. They have a lot of weird wordplay, but it's aggressive East Coast rap where they're talking about killing people, ruining people's lives, sleeping with people's women, selling drugs, making money, and it has a similar appeal to me probably that Allie and AJ has to Brightline over here. It's weird that there's a nostalgic quality to me, the way that I look, the age that I am, for grimy East Coast rap, but I could listen to it all day, every day. And this album fucking hits that perfectly.
Don't be sad, P.O.
Fair enough.
P.O.'s being sad.
I'm just peeing out of my eye. Corey, talk to Piho. Corey, keep Piho company. I don't have the time because I'm talking.
Right.
What album? Hitler Wears Hermes 8 Side B. Okay, so that's the one you attack for me. That's actually a super fair one. Is there another one you'd attack for me, or is there another one you'd attack for Brightline?
I mean, I could. I don't know.
It sounded earlier like it rubbed you the wrong way that I said that Nas's album is better than Illmatic.
That's true. That does rub me the wrong way because I haven't heard it. I can't say, but
It's better than Illmatic.
I
King's Disease 2 is
really
better
like
than Illmatic.
Illmatic.
King's Disease 1 might be better than Illmatic. And I think Illmatic is something where people heard it. They heard it was good. It has good parts. It's not that good. Illmatic's overrated.
I don't know. I'm up to hear Nas because I think Illmatic's at least top 20 90s rap albums.
Top 20? Nah.
Yeah.
Doesn't make the top 20 cut. Might be in top 100.
No, definitely in the top 100.
I don't know.
But yeah, and
Do you have a hard time with Daddy's Home making it into my top 10?
I was a little bit like let down by that album, but I still liked it. You know, like I didn't like, you know, after like Mass Seduction, I like love. That's like one of my favorite albums. And what's the her self-titled one, just called Saint Vincent. That's another album I just
it's a
love.
good album.
And Daddy's Home, I really liked, but I didn't love it the way I did the last two. And that's why it was only an honorable mention for me.
Corey, talk to Piho. Keep going.
But that's I mean, yeah, that's my thing. I wouldn't put it. I just wouldn't put it like. I didn't think it was like, you know, her best project or anything, or even like necessarily like one that I would it's an album that like I kept like looking at and I'm like I need to buy a copy and I still haven't bought one.
Fair. And I don't think you've heard the other ones enough to really critique. You've heard Vince Staples.
Yeah.
Fucking good album.
Yeah, it is. It's short though.
The biggest discredit to Vince Staples is that it's short, and the interesting thing about it is it's the only reason it's not my number one. This album in 20 minutes is so good that it competes with me, who wants to shout about how much I love Tyler the Creator. But I'm putting it in the 5 spot because it's so short. But there's something about it where it kind of encapsulates what he said in so many other albums just cleanly, because it's the same stuff. What's crazy about Vince is Vince had a lot of trauma at a young age that affects most of his lyricism. And it's talking about where he came from, it's talking about his family, it's talking about his parents, it's talking about all of this stuff that's really kind of fucked up. But he does it in a slightly different way to appeal to different people. And this one, it kind of just sounded like he was writing it for himself. And I like that a lot.
Something I will say about the Vince one though, really enjoyed it. Really good album. It is my least favorite out of the short Vince albums though.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I mean, his EPs are fucking fire.
They are. They're all great.
He doesn't have Vince Staples does not have a bad album.
No.
Okay, so you went through me. What are you gonna say about Brightline? What's hard for you? What in his top 10 is hard that you know of at least?
Well,
I think there's one that we agree on.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I haven't heard it, but I kept hearing how that Orla Garland album was like really disappointing. I haven't heard it myself. I remember Bright telling me that he was super disappointed, but I mean, if it grew on him, maybe I haven't heard it, so I can't say.
Yeah, it's one of the albums that like I actually was disappointed with, like I said, but now then I like, heard it a bit more, and I was like, I thought like, wow. You just gotta just one of those like albums that you gotta like really grow on, then you realize how like good it is. That's why it's so hard.
I also
Wait, Corey, did No Doubt put out an album this year?
No, they haven't put out.
Corey, we're talking about albums from 2021. Top albums from 2021. Get with the news, Corey. Core dog.
I also think that Tyler's album's way too low on your list. Like that album's like just too good. I know you really.
I wanted to put it higher, but I just couldn't.
I'm gonna second this notion. I don't know how the fuck some of these albums are above it. For me, hearing Spirit Box and then having you put it above Tyler, that shit's gross. I like Spirit Box. I think it's a good album. I think that is a good album.
They say I'll like it, but I haven't heard it.
You have different tastes in music than me. That's fine. That's hard for me to see. All right.
Also,
12-Foot Ninja. I know what that is.
And then
Wait, what's your biggest issue with Bright Blind's list? You know what it is.
My biggest issue is the Ali and AJ number one.
I think that'd be it.
I think that is like me putting Blue Bannister at number one.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like I know, like you love Ali and AJ. They're good, and there's nothing wrong with that. But to say it's like your number one, that's like I don't know. I just feel like that's me like saying like Lana Del Rey is my number one because I love Lana Del Rey.
My thing with this album though is I heard this album more than anything else, and
But do you think it's a better written album than Carnage or Lindsey Buckingham or Call Me If You Get Lost?
I don't know. Probably not. But I just feel a bit more with that album than I do with any of the albums on the list. That's why it's so high.
So I think I have an equal distaste for Ali and AJ being top. I haven't even heard this album, and I know that I don't agree with it for a very similar reason that Jared's bringing up here, in the fact that, like, for me, I think the equivalent for, like, my list is if I took the West Side Gun album, and especially if I took 1 and 2, and I was like, these are the top. These are going to be at the top. These are definitely the top. Because there's this weird nostalgic feel for them. They remind me of Wu-Tang Clan. They make me feel like I'm a kid. They make me feel like a grimy little shithead kid on the streets, and I love it. But it's not nearly as well crafted as D Smoke's album. It doesn't even come close to touching Tyler's album. But in its own right, I would give it a 10 without blinking. And so I think that's hard for me. And it's not that I think you're wrong, because I think we all have our own opinions. I think we're all right in the fact that it's our thoughts and our feelings. But it's a hard one for me.
Corey.
What did Corey say?
Oh, Corey, Ozzy Osbourne's album came out last year.
Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne was 2020, man. Ooh, metal and experimental. Okay. Do you have anything else you would take a shot at?
Who's that under? Oh, also I don't. I've only heard a little bit, but I'm not a fan of Angel. Anyways, I hate Tom DeLonge's voice. I think he has a trash voice. I hate it. I think it's obnoxious. I think it's really annoying. I hate Blink-182.
They talked about Poppy.
Yeah, I do not. I do not like his voice.
I'm gonna second this. I haven't heard them, but if it sounds like Blink-182, I keep trying to let skater punk and pop punk and all that shit have a space where like it deserves. And I can't do it. I don't know if it's something about like when I grew up. I don't know what it is, but man, oh man, I have a hard time with it. You can defend yourself.
That's the thing though. There's like the whole like there's one song that does kind of sound like Blink-182, but like the rest of it doesn't sound like anything like
Blink-182. Doesn't sound like Blink-182 at all.
Yeah.
That's a little insane.
There's one song.
His voice doesn't sound. Are you going to say that it's completely different?
And
the sound's very, very different.
I think I like I like a lot of pop punk. I mean, I like some pop punk. I like a good amount of skater punk, but like I don't know. I just can't with Tom DeLonge's voice. I just can't. I also
I just can't. I just can't.
Maybe it's different in there, but like I just think a lot of their lyrics are like kind of like I know they're like kind of like intentionally.
That's what I was saying, Miss Lil Insane.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying that it is. I'm talking about Blink-182 personally. I can't get behind it.
Yeah, I mean, I like bands, like bands like Suicide Machines and like Rancid and like so forth. As like as far as like skater punk goes, and I like as far as like pop punk, we all love Green Day, even like Paramore and all forth and so forth. But like, I just
I appreciate it, P.O.
I just can't. I just can't like Blink-182.
Okay. I'll go next, and I'll start with you.
All right.
Blue Banisters does not deserve a spot in the top 10. I don't think it's good enough. I understand why it's there. I think it's one of Lana's weaker albums. I understand why you like it. I get it. I listened to the album a few times. I gave it a fair shake. I gave it a fair fucking shake. I don't like it. I don't think it's that good. I think Lana just she has some good songs. She has some good albums. She has some good this. She has some good that. But I don't think Lana has an album that when it came out sits in the top 10 spot for that year. I don't think any of her albums. I know you're gonna disagree with me.
Strong disagree.
I don't think
fucking Rockwell, definitely.
Fuck no.
Definitely, yes.
One of her worst albums.
No. Wrong.
Who puts a cover of a Sublime song in the middle of an album and they're like.
Because she put that album on there because she recorded the Sublime cover for Sublime documentary, and then it ended up actually being a hit, so they kind of threw it on.
So what you're saying is she let them ruin her album?
No, it actually works really well between Fucking I Love You and
it does not.
Girl.
Casey Musgraves did release an album core. She did release an album. It doesn't deserve top 10 though.
It doesn't deserve top 10, but I enjoyed a lot of stuff off that one.
The only other thing that I can really take a shot at here is I don't like him. I don't like Nick Cave. I keep giving Nick Cave chances, and I have a hard time with it. I haven't heard this album, so I can't say for certain that I'm not going to like it. I don't like Nick Cave. I don't like Nick Cave.
And I will defend that by saying Nick Cave is one of the greatest songwriters on the planet.
So I hear this, but like when I hear that, he's like a Dollar Tree little Leonard Cohen. Like that's what Nick Cave feels like to me.
But he takes a lot of things that Leonard Cohen would never take, and he turns them a thing. And also like you get a lot of Leonard Cohen vibes from an album like that, of course. But then like if you listen to something like From Her to Eternity, you're not getting Leonard Cohen vibe. Well, other than the Leonard Cohen cover, of course, you're not getting Leonard Cohen vibe from the rest of the album. And also the Leonard Cohen cover is the worst song. And also, or if you even take an album, like even like a new, like if you take an album like Ghosteen or something, a lot more electronic than anything Leonard Cohen did.
Oh, P-Ho, I like you too. Thanks, man.
I think, yeah, he's just like, he's like his own person. And he's like one of the most unique artists, I think, because every project he has sounds different, and you can't say that about most people.
Did Taylor Swift release an album?
Taylor Swift's albums, I was actually gonna throw these in there.
But they're old.
I'm not
albums,
gonna
though.
count.
Yeah.
Fearless Taylor's version or Red Taylor's version. They are re-recordings. They have new unreleased songs. But the core of what you're listening to is already. It's just.
That's the same reason why I didn't include. I kind of could have used those honorable mention, but like I'm talking about the Wallows Remote Deluxe.
Oh, that's why I did do Sharecropper's Daughter.
Yeah, because the deluxe came out this year, but like the original one was 2020. Yeah,
see, this is literally why I didn't put Sharecropper's Daughter in my top 10. It's a good fucking album.
Yeah, it's not fair for me just to throw Red in there with all my 10 years of attachment to it and just be like, this is in my top 10 album.
Yeah, that's some bullshit. Outside of that, the only other like qualm that I kind of have is. Bright, I mean, you're younger, so this makes sense to some degree. But like the fact that how many of the people in your list are YouTubers, or started doing stuff on YouTube? Like that's how they started.
Only two.
Is it only two?
Yeah, only Orla and Dodie.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, still too many. So you have two YouTubers and you have a Disney star, and I don't know why that's so hard for me. I'm not saying that people can't grow from where they start, but that's hard for me. Yeah. Is that hard for you?
Yeah, I think so because honestly. I think someone like a good example of like there are like some YouTubers that they make music, but like usually it's like like YouTube like a stepping stone. Like when you when you identify as a YouTuber, I don't usually you don't have music. Like if you throw someone like like if you throw like a Watsky out there, like you wouldn't call Watsky a YouTuber.
No, it'd be hard to call them YouTubers. So, like, the closest thing to a YouTuber that I would say that I know has made quality music, and again, I wouldn't put her even near a top 10 list, but Tessa Violet.
Right.
I think Tessa Violet does great things, but, like, for me, even with, like, the quality of her music, how good it is, if we were talking back in 2019 when her great album came out, I couldn't even come close to putting
That's
it in my
my
top
thing.
10.
The only YouTuber that I kind of was like most like a YouTuber ended music was Emma Blackery, but Orla and Garland only went to, and Dodie and only went to YouTube to do music, nothing else, and they like specifically wanted to be called musicians and YouTubers. Okay. Now tear us apart, Bright Blind. Can you tear us apart? You can. You go right ahead. You do what feels right. I mean, I heard the Vince Staples one. I didn't like it at first, then it grew on me. But okay. I wouldn't put it in my top 10, but like
it's a short fucking album.
Yeah, it's very short.
It's 22 minutes or something like that.
And I haven't really heard any of like Nas's like new stuff, so I wouldn't know about that either.
He has a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah, I've only heard of like his 90s stuff. That's about it. And Jared. The thing with Jared though, I know I like everything he had on his list, but like
I got a good list.
If I had to pick a problem with one album,
Corey Green Day's last album was trash, and it came out
in 2020.
Yeah, like the worst thing they've ever done.
What was number 9?
King Woman Celestial Blues, the album
yeah.
that I told you to listen to because you'd love it.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a problem with Jared's because I know I like all his stuff.
Do you have a problem with Blue Banisters in there?
Man, Blue Banisters, I really wanted it. I thought Blue Banisters was better than Chemtrails.
Billie Eilish did release an album, but it wasn't good.
I don't know if I'd put it in my top 10, but like it definitely is definitely better than Chemtrails. So that's the best I can do at attacking Jared, I guess.
Okay, I mean, the Vince Staples one, I didn't want to put it in my top 10, but I've listened to it so many times, and it's like probably the one that's been the most influential on me. It's the one that I keep coming back to. There's something that's you can listen to it over and over again. 1, because it's short, and 2, because it's so impactful. But I can see why anyone would be like, what the fuck is that doing in a top 10 for 2021? You can listen to it, I think, like 8 times in the length it takes you to listen to Donda. I think it's 8 times. Damn. Anything else you want to attack? No. Okay, so there's a few things that I missed when I was talking about stuff that didn't make it into my top 10, and it's just because I didn't think about it. Queen Herbie's album. I think it's like To Be a Woman or something like that. Good album. It's her first like legitimate album in a while. She went through an EP series where I think she released 10 EPs, and then she released this album. Queen Herbie was once Carmen, and then she rebranded herself as a rapper as Queen Herbie. Her music is fun. It isn't amazing, but it is fun.
Yeah, it's like, it makes you happy.
It makes you happy. It's good to dance around to. There's nothing crazy about it. There's a lot of female empowerment, which I'm a big fan of, but it isn't like an amazing album. I don't know how I forgot to bring up Yellow Wolf. Yellow Wolf had a fucking year. If you like trashy white country rap, you like Yellow Wolf. You'll like Yellow Wolf. You'll like Yellow Wolf. Yellow Wolf put out 4 EPs. Sorry. Yeah, 4 EPs and a full album in 2021. Each EP was with someone else. If you want to have a good time, go listen to Turquoise Tornado by Yellow Wolf and Riff Raff. Riff Raff, the funniest, weirdest, dumbest piece of trash. Man, oh man, oh man. Go listen to Yellow Wolf. He had a year, not making my top fucking 10, but he had a year. Is there anything else anyone else wants to say? Anything else anyone else wants to bring up? Or are we gonna end this, close this on a...
I feel I missed something on my list. Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure I covered everything.
All-time low, Corey? Did they put out an album?
I hope not.
They did. It's trash.
Something else I want to say is that
Go play with your pet, Piho.
there are a few albums I didn't listen to this year that I think I would really like to mention. You mentioned Queen Herbie. That's one that I totally slept on.
Oh, I slept on that too. Yeah.
Garbage made a new album. I
gotta
slept
listen
on
to
I slept on that also.
Iron Maiden did a new album, but it's a fucking hour and a half, so I'm probably gonna have to listen to that at some point. And there's probably a couple others too. But there's just too many good albums this year. Way too many.
It was a really good year for music, and I'm glad that I got to be a part of it. And I think it's something where we all needed music. It wasn't a great year. 2021, I think, can be agreed by everyone, wasn't our best year. It was like 2020, but it just felt worse. Like 2020 sucked. 2021 just felt worse.
It was 2020.
Pets Aren't Perfect.
Too, but it was like the second.
Yeah. Where's 2022, the real 2022, it's gonna be fucking incredible. It's gonna be good for you. It's gonna be good for you. It's gonna be good for me. It's gonna be good for you. It's gonna be good for you. It's gonna be good for you every goddamn day.
Corey, I mentioned the 21 Pilots album.
Corey, you came in late. I get it. You came in late. I get it, Corey. If you start listening to more actual albums, maybe we'll let you come in.
Listen to everything on this list.
Mm-hmm.
Corey, listen. So there's a couple that get repeated. So there's like 26 albums here. Corey, listen to these 26 albums.
Screenshot it and listen to them.
Yeah, screenshot it and listen to it. Cool. I'm glad to hear that, Corey.
These could be good soundtracks to your graduation.
Yeah, this could be a good graduation year with all these beautiful albums.
Actually, a lot of stuff I listened to around the time I graduated really shaped like what my musical tastes are now.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, I think from about the age of 16 to about the age of 20 is like really where it shaped a lot of like the music that I listened to. I think 18 to 20 is where I really got experimental and just started listening to a bunch of stuff. I spent 6 months listening to a new female musician or band every single day in like at the age of like 19, and it really changed my perspective on music because I think we have like almost like a male-centric view of music. I don't know why that's the case. It doesn't make much sense to me, but it kind of is the case. And that shifted quite a bit. And you can see my list still is mostly men, but I think their lists are a little bit more balanced than mine.
Mine's actually split 50-50.
Yeah.
And
I think mine's split 50-52.
Yeah,
Actually,
your guys' are pretty good.
And my and I will say actually in like right now, I actually think a lot of the best music's being done by women right now.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times that's the case. I think a lot of time that's the case.
Rap's like actually one of the like ones where it's actually not, where like it's mostly like most of the good albums are done by men.
I think that what's happening in rap music is probably a similar thing that used to happen in other genres, where it's just dominated by certain musicians, and so it makes it harder to get into.
Yeah.
Like when you're so like I'm gonna preface this with I actually like Megan Thee Stallion, but when the two things that you aspire towards are Megan Thee Stallion and Lizzo, those are probably like your two biggest, and then you have Doja Cat coming up next, it makes it to where it doesn't seem like you can come into rap as just being yourself. Lizzo is even hypersexualized. I don't understand this thing where you have to hypersexualize yourself as a female artist, and I think that's garbage, and I don't think that that's a productive place for the female industry, the music industry, to be heading, especially in rap. I know rap is viewed as like aggressive and about drugs and about sex and about this and about that, but like that's the viewpoint of almost every music genre before it hits like mainstream.
Yeah,
which is weird because rap's now mainstream.
The reason why people like to pick on rap is because rap does it a little bit more literal. But like if you listen to like old Rolling Stones lyrics, it's like, I mean, you're hearing a lot of the same things, but it's like, you know, kind of it's a lot more metaphorical.
Yeah. Well, I think this is where we wrap it.
Yeah.
Do we have any qualms with rapping it now?
Our mixtape could be out.
Rap it. Brightline, but before we leave, when are we going to hear new music from you?
Still, we're in the works.
Still in the works.
I'm trying to really try and actually focus on this one too, a little more than I did the last one. That's why it's taken forever.
Okay. Trying to put it together a little better.
Yeah.
Well, as always, I'm the Twitcher. Thank you so much for stopping by Music Talk. We're going to try to do this every Thursday at about 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are in America, if you are anywhere else, I think you can figure it out. I think that's enough of a time zone share for you to go, man, where does that compare to me? If you can't, text me, email me, send me a thing and be like, hey man, I can't find it. Every Thursday, 6 p.m.
We don't want you to
hit us up. This is the top 10 albums of 2021 from Jared, from the Twitcher, from Brightblind. We don't fully agree. We're going to put these up on the website. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely night. Do you want to say goodbye?
Bye-bye, everyone.
Do you want to say goodbye?
So long.
Day or night or wherever you're at in the time zone.
Have a good one. See ya. If I didn't have to click this button.